Chapter 2307. The ranking of the small sacred worlds was still in full swing. One by one, the small sacred worlds displayed terrifying strength. In addition, some secluded cultivation forces were busy competing for the small sacred worlds that were ranked lower. In the blink of an eye, the third day arrived. After the small sacred worlds ranked 28th, the competition became intense and crazy. For example, the small sacred worlds that were previously eliminated all wanted to regain control of a small sacred world. Under such circumstances, the small sacred worlds that were ranked lower were under great pressure. Basically, none of them could resist the challenge and were kicked out of the small sacred worlds. Lin Fei did not make a move. When the Nether Realm, which was ranked 32nd, arrived, he finally smiled. The Nether Realm was what Lin Fei wanted to control. From the beginning, Lin Fei had his eyes on the Nether Realm and was ready to remove the other party from the Nether Realm. As long as he controlled the 32nd level, it would be equivalent to controlling 2 small sacred worlds. Then he would build a transmission array and have a base camp. Furthermore, he would be able to do it secretly. Where else could he find such a good thing? After the Nether Palace of the Nether Realm appeared, their expressions were very ugly. There were many competing forces. If they could not withstand 3 rounds of continuous battles, they would not be able to control the other forces easily. In the first round, the Nether Palace was disqualified and could only participate in challenges. Even if they challenged, they would not be able to maintain their position and would be forced to leave the stage. Their expressions were extremely ugly. After going through 7 or 8 forces in a row, Lin Fei finally decided to make a move. The forces competing for the Nether Realm basically could not maintain their position. They had to constantly face the forces that came up. If they wanted to maintain a stable position, they would not be able to do so without some foundation. Moreover, when it came to the last 2 small sacred worlds, no matter who it was, they had to go all out. Di Tian is going up. It turns out that he wants to compete for the Nether Realm. No wonder he did not make a move earlier. The competition in the Nether Realm is more intense than imagined. Seeing that Di Tian had brought people to the stage, everyone present had a look of realization. Some people were very unhappy with Di Tian, such as young Master Yanhua. He had arranged people to teach Di Tian a lesson, but the people he contacted had disappeared without a trace. He had been angry for a long time. On the stage, the strongest people around Lin Fei were 2 first-step experts. His opponents were 3 first-step experts and 8 late-stage giants. All of them had the power of the Great Path. Although they were not perfect, they were still very powerful. Everyone knew that Di Tian was a dark horse. When he saw that Lin Fan had only brought 2 first-step experts onto the stage, he was more or less disappointed. Could it be that he wanted to defeat Lin Fan with just 2 first-step experts? Earth collapse. This was a first-step expert who could control the power of the earth. The entire arena quickly turned into a piece of land, and the feet of Lin Fei and the others caved in. Flame Kingdom. The other first-step expert took advantage of the situation and went up. The high temperature was like a scorching sun that covered the arena. Space evaporated in an instant. Explode! Boom, boom, boom. Apart from the 2 first-step experts, the remaining 8 giant experts self-detonated at the first moment. Terrifying air waves swept out, tearing the ground apart. The endless high temperature also rushed out and crushed the opponents one by one. The late-stage giant experts were torn to pieces by this force. The spectating forces were all stunned. This power is so strong. It completely surpasses the self-detonation of a giant late-stage powerhouse. Damn it. How did Di Tian do it? The power of his self-destruction. Many people stood up and stared at the situation on the stage. The power of the giant expert's self-destruction was completely extraordinary. It killed the 8 giant experts on the spot, and the opponents did not even have a chance to attack before they died directly. This kid still likes this move. Yan Zixing was not surprised at all. Maybe the Netherworld realm will fall into Di Tian's hands. It's indeed a terrifying attack. Luo Xing from the Blackwater realm laughed. It's really hard for ordinary people to defend against it. They're going to lose. Bai Lang smiled. While they were talking, the first step expert beside Lin Fei made his move. He cast a powerful curse technique and threw out all kinds of additional attributes that landed on the three of them. The curse technique was enhanced by the origin energy. The effect was several times stronger than the ordinary level. They were dizzy and had to admit defeat. The winner will seal the invincible world palace. As soon as they lost, someone immediately came up to announce. The challenge will begin after the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. For the sake of fairness, all those who succeeded in the challenge would have a break time of 1 incense stick. After winning the first ranking match, Lin Fei would have to face 3 challenges. Once he won, it would be equivalent to controlling the Netherworld realm. The first match begins. From the moment Lin Fei decided to make his move, the outcome was already decided. Just like in the previous match, as soon as the opponents came up, Lin Fei used his self-destruction technique and killed them without any ability to resist. He severely injured the opponents and forced them to admit defeat. Shameless! Shameless! Many people secretly cursed. Who could withstand such a method? The results of the first, second, and third matches were all the same. Lin Fei did not care about everyone's expressions and directly used his self-destruction technique, leaving corpses behind, and won easily. I announce that the Netherworld realm will be controlled by the invincible world from now on. After consecutively defeating 3 major powers, Lin Fei obtained the recognition of the sacred world. As for the Netherworld child who was his archenemy, his expression was extremely ugly. Their Netherworld palace was going to retreat from the stage of history, no matter how unwilling they were. Under the witness of the 5 major powers of the sacred world, no one dared to refute. When Lin Fei came down from the stage, many powers immediately came up to congratulate him. From a sealed world to the controller of a small saint world, his status was obviously different. Even the Netherworld realm, ranked 32nd, was a small saint world. Lin Fei nodded and returned to his seat. The competition for the last small saint world began. The remaining powers were even more frenzied. Everyone knew about the rise of the Zone clan. But this time around, the Zone clan sent out 5 first-step experts and 6 late-phase hegemonic-level experts, displaying terrifying strength. Shameless, it's this move again. What relationship does the Zone clan have with Di Tian exactly? Why are their hegemonic-level experts self-destructing as well? This is cheating. The Zone clan also used this move. Many people were speechless. Couldn't they just fight properly? Would the people who went up be able to accept this? Regardless of whether they could accept it or not, the Zone clan's methods and strength had defeated the attacks of their opponents 3 times, easily stabilizing the Heaven Wasteland domain and becoming the last small saint world. I announce that the small saint world has reached perfection. Chapter 2308. In truth, the secret realms within the wild, sacred mountain had always been something that everyone was looking forward to. Those places were related to some of the peak powers of the wild world back then. No one wanted to know how the space within the wild, sacred mountain had been discovered, or how to enter, or how to obtain treasures. That was what everyone was looking forward to. The ranking competition was just a more exciting game. As Yan Zixing announced the end of the ranking competition, he also began to announce the secret realms within the wild sacred mountain. Although he had only vaguely explained it, it undoubtedly excited many. In the next few days, the first and second tier powers that could come were all seething with excitement. The 5 top powers announced some things about the space within the wild sacred mountain, and did not stop outsiders from entering. This gave everyone a chance to rise. This secret realm was called the Void Flame Space. The Void Flame Space immediately became the focus of attention. If not for the fact that the void flame space was within the wild, sacred mountain, many people would have started to search for it. Bang! While the void flame space was being watched, a few powers gathered together in secret. Yan Huang City, in a private courtyard. On this night, many important people appeared. All of them had a certain level of fame in the sacred world. In the room of the courtyard, someone had set up a spirit design. Everyone who came in was slightly taken aback when they saw the person at the head seat, and then sat down quietly. However, a hint of joy flashed across their faces. Half an hour later, everyone had arrived. Everyone knows who I am, and there is no need to continue introducing me. However, we all have a common enemy, and that is Di Tian. On the head seat, a middle-aged man with a dark face sat. He did not hide his anger towards Di Tian at all. The faces of the people in the room changed slightly as they gathered their murderous intents. The temperature of the entire place instantly chilled. Di Tian was the person they were most unwilling to mention. Di Tian is not so easy to deal with. It will not be easy to kill him. I wonder if you have any way to kill Di Tian? The Yu Mingzi's face was dark, and his eyes flashed coldly as he rushed down from the seat of the Holy Master of the Netherworld Palace. He had boundless killing intent towards Di Tian. Yes, we do have a grudge with Di Tian, but everyone knows that Di Tian is not easy to deal with. Although his cultivation level is not high, he has many trump cards. Do you want us to charge up and die? We're not fools. There's no need to become enemies with Di Tian. Ever since they had encountered Di Tian's self-detonation during the fight for the small saint world, the first thing everyone thought of when Di Tian was mentioned was his brutal self-detonation. No one could withstand such an attack. When they found out that someone wanted to deal with Di Tian and had even invited them, they couldn't help but tremble in fear. Everyone laughed. That was why they had come personally. They wanted to know what methods the other party had to deal with Di Tian. From being the local tyrant of an unranked sealed world to controlling a small sacred world in the blink of an eye, this kind of leap was not a small matter. It was enough to be written into a historical novel. Everyone subconsciously developed a kind of fear towards Di Tian. None of them had the guts to attack him alone. What if this young noble wants to deal with Di Tian? The tightly shut door was violently pushed open. The two large doors exploded into pieces. Everyone stood up in an instant, their auras exploding as they stared at the person at the door. At this moment, a young master stood at the door. He was dressed in luxurious embroidered clothes, and there was a hint of killing intent on his face. He took a step forward and arrived at the seat of honor. All right, I'll talk to them about this. The middle-aged man from before stood up right away. He lowered his head. Young master, please sit. The young master sat down and looked at everyone present. He pressed his hands down. All of you can sit down. Do you not welcome me? Welcome. You are very welcome. Everyone sat down once more. Their faces were solemn. They didn't expect that this person would appear. The meaning of this matter was now different. I feel that all of you are talents. Are you interested in joining? If not, then I won't force you. All of you can just leave. The young master smiled as he spoke. Young master, we still have things to do, so we won't disturb you. One of them stood up, turned around, and walked out. He already had someone to rely on. This person walked out of the door. A green streak of light struck him and slashed across his body. His eyes opened wide as he covered his neck and fell backwards. You dare to reject young master's good intentions. You deserve to die. A black-clothed man appeared at the door. He held a dagger in his hand and licked the blood on it. He looked back with a sinister expression. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. An unparalleled expert at the first step had actually been defeated with a single blade strike. This person was too terrifying. Shadow, who told you to come out and scare the kids? Get lost. The young master snorted. The black-clothed man at the door disappeared, leaving behind a corpse at the door. Young master, we are willing to join. I'll join too. I'm willing. The young master sneered in his heart. If these people didn't have some strength, he wouldn't have come to recruit them. However, they were good candidates to deal with Tian. Young mistress, young master Yen Ho brought his subordinate, Shadow, and took in some forces that failed to be selected. He even killed a first step expert on the spot, in a courtyard with artificial mountains and flowing water. In a pavilion, a girl in purple moved her jade-like fingers and stroked the zither in front of her. Her murderous voice echoed in the courtyard. Sometimes it was passionate, sometimes it was gentle. A middle-aged man beside her reported in a low voice until the song ended. Continue to keep an eye on my big brother. The girl in purple placed her hands on the zither and stopped playing. Do we need to inform Tian? The middle-aged man asked. No need. The girl in purple said. Tian is a mysterious person. We just need to arrange people to keep an eye on him. How are those people doing? Are they under control? They're still behaving well. But young mistress's third brother seems to have been contacted recently. Continue to keep an eye on him. You can leave now. The courtyard regained its silence. Illusory flame space. The girl in purple stood up and disappeared from the courtyard. Lin Fei didn't go out. He secretly released special creatures to gather the information he wanted. It was a pity that he didn't gain much. Yan Huang City's control of information was more strict. Yen Fei, immediately target the Nether Palace. The Nether Realm is mine now. If they want to touch mine, kill them all. Through the system, Lin Fei listened to Yen Fei's report from the Nether Realm. As the Holy Master of Heaven, Wasteland Domain, Yen Fei was now a good helper by Lin Fei's side. Your Majesty, I will act immediately. I won't let them have their way. Yen Fei promised. After ending the call, Lin Fei snorted coldly. After the Nether Child lost control of the Nether Realm, he started to have evil ideas. Not only did he control the forces to dig up resources that belonged to the Nether Realm, he even prepared to take away a portion of the population of the Nether Realm. When the time came, he would leave Lin Fei with an incomplete Nether Realm. This was also because the Nether Realm was at the back. Lin Fei didn't have any forces deployed in the Nether Realm. He was like a duckweed without a foundation. It was normal for the other party to use tricks. Chapter 2309. As the day of entering the void flame space approached, there was one person who was in a bad mood. That was Lin Fei. Although the entire city was discussing the matter of the void flame space, for Lin Fei, this was not the most important thing at the moment, but how to steal the terrifying energy from the Yan Huang ancestor statue. After waiting for a few days, Lin Fei finally gained something. The system had successfully broken through the countless array formations and restrictions on the statue. If it was another person, they might not even be able to do it in 100 years. At the very least, they would have to add a number to the back to reach about 1,000 years. This was still fast. Lin Fei controlled a powerful system, so breaking through the array formations was indeed not a problem. While waiting anxiously, he finally heard the voice of the little devil. Ha, great, it came at the right time. Lin Fei revealed a smile. No matter what was said outside, what he cared about the most was the terrifying energy within the statue. That was the power of a perfect fourth step expert. Master's luck is good. Once the terrifying energy within the statue is completely plundered, Master will have the power to protect himself in the wild, sacred mountain. No matter how bad it is, Master will be able to leave calmly and not put himself in danger. The little devil laughed. Then what are we waiting for? Let's enter the statue immediately. Lin Fei rubbed his fists and couldn't wait any longer. Master, before we go in, you still need to do one more thing. For example, make some noise in the Yan Huang world. It would be best if you can attract everyone's attention so that they don't notice us. The little devil suggested. This will only be beneficial to Master. Lin Fei pondered for a moment. The The little devil's words did make sense. The statue of the Yen Huang ancestor had gone through a long period of time and absorbed the energy of heaven and earth. Now it had become a trump card. Outsiders might not be able to see any changes, but it was inevitable that they would be suspected. If he was suspected, it would definitely be a big problem. To be able to steal such a huge amount of terrifying energy, Lin Fei really did not believe that the people of Yanhuang City would be able to sit still. At that time, they would definitely do everything they could to find clues. Lin Fei was very confident that he would not be discovered. However, there was no guarantee that he would not be found. It was rumored that the second step of the unparalleled realm was a watershed, which meant that one had perfect control over the power of the great Tao. At the same time, the energy in the body would change into a kind of energy called magic power. This was only one of the reasons. The second reason was that experts at the second step realm controlled the power of the Great Path. In addition to the ordinary 5 major elements, there were many unimaginable Great Path attribute powers. Lin Fei had once heard from Yan Fei that there was once an unparalleled expert who had successfully mastered a special elemental power when he stepped into the second step. Under the control of his dermic powers, his combat prowess was abnormally strong. His opponent's great Tao was known as decomposition, and there were very few people who could block this kind of great Tao attack. Because of this, his opponent had gained a great reputation. It was precisely because he had some understanding that Lin Fei didn't think he could guarantee that he wouldn't be found out. Do we need a lot of noise? It's best if we can attract the attention of the strong. That way, the effect will be better. Master also needs to leave a substitute here to avoid suspicion. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes. I didn't plan to use it so soon. Seems like I have to bring it forward now. For the sake of that terrifying energy, Lin Fei had to complete it at all costs. Come out, my doppelganger. In the next second, after making sure that no one was watching, an identical figure appeared beside Lin Fei. Every time he saw this identical, modified human, Lin Fei would be shocked. This wasn't a doppelganger, but one that had been modified through flesh and blood. It had the same aura as the real body, as long as it didn't attack, even if it was an elite expert attacking. One couldn't tell if it was real or fake. After making the arrangements, Lin Fei quietly snuck out. His entire person transformed into a shadow in the darkness, not revealing a single trace. After leaving Yanhuang City, it was already dark and windy outside. Lin Fei moved very quickly. With his spatial bloodline, his speed was extremely fast. He passed through more than half of the Yanhuang world, and at the same time his aura changed to that of old ancestor hypnosis. To be on the safe side, Lin Fei decided to find someone to take the blame. Old ancestor hypnosis of the Yanhuang world was very suitable to take the blame. No one would have thought that a drop of essence blood could cause such a huge disaster. Come out, Dark Assassin. After the system was released, Lin Fei hadn't been idle in the past 10 years. He had been secretly accumulating strength, especially after coming into contact with modification. Gradually, he had modified some experts, and the Dark Assassins were modified in these 10 years. Originally, he had used them as a surprise attack, but now he couldn't care so much. Moreover, the Dark Assassins wouldn't be suspected at all. Lin Fei had originally intended to use them as a surprise attack. In order to transform this batch of darkness assassins, he had spent a lot of effort and consumed a lot of origin energy. Now, each of these darkness assassins could erupt with the combat strength of a late-stage giant. At the same time, they had mastered darkness stealth, especially at night. With the attribute bonus, when used with stealth and assassination, the success rate was 99%. Even a first-step expert would be hit if they were not on guard. The first batch of dark assassins wasn't large in number. Lin Fei had arranged for 100 dark assassins, and it was enough to cause quite a commotion. It shouldn't be a problem to use them to attract everyone's attention. Let's start with Yanhuang City for the assassination. Where was the best place to cause a commotion? Lin Fei knew without thinking. Yanhuang City. After the ranking competition, there were still many major powers living in Yanhuang City. As long as he assassinated them, he would definitely be able to cause a commotion. At that time in the darkness, it would be a piece of cake to sneak into the statue. Lin Fei once again disappeared into the night. The 100 dark assassins used the moonlight to advance rapidly. In every second, they crossed a very long distance. Gradually, Yanhuang City appeared in his vision. Lin Fei just hid in the dark, shielding all his aura as though he didn't exist. Through his vision, he saw the dark assassins sneak into Yanhuang City. 100 dark assassins wasn't a large number. Lin Fei was very clear about the strength of this force. This was also the first time he had taken it out to experiment. Arrange for 2 dark assassins to assassinate Lu Shan first. Lin Fei thought of that assassin. Wasn't he still in Yanhuang City? Using assassins to ambush him would definitely be a very interesting thing. As for those who wanted to ambush him, Lin Fei had no intention of letting them go. Chapter 2310. Night, Yanhuang City. Young Master Yan Hua had brought his subordinates to the largest brothel in Yanhuang City. As the young master of the Yan family, he was fawned upon no matter where he went. Recently, he had successfully taken in a group of people. Young Master Yan Hua was in a good mood. It would be even better if he did not mention Di Tian. Young Master Yan, cheers! Cheers! In one of the pavilions of the gold squandering den, a group of men were hugging a woman and drinking a cup of wine. The woman beside them was very cooperative, and from time to time, she would make everyone laugh. Young Master Yan Hua was tipsy and very excited. Unbeknownst to him, at this moment, 2 darkness assassins sneaked in and quietly approached the target. When he raised his wine cup, the darkness assassin instantly attacked. 2 beams of cold light pierced towards his chest, and the other pierced towards his forehead. The speed of the attack was so fast that it exceeded everyone's imagination. The 2 beams of light were formed from daggers. At this speed, it was not difficult to hit the target if one was unprepared. The jade pendant on young Master Yan Hua's neck glowed brightly. Just as it was about to hit the target, it blocked the 2 attacks. The entire pavilion exploded, and the darkness assassin was sent flying. Assassin! Young Master Yan Hua has been assassinated. Quick, catch the assassin. Once it failed, the darkness assassin retreated into the darkness. As the cold light flashed, the surrounding people were unlucky. They were stabbed at vital spots and fell one by one. In order for the darkness assassin to display its most terrifying assassination ability, Lin Fei had coated the dagger with poison. It was an incurable poison that could kill with one strike. Unless one's strength reached a terrifying level, one would not be able to suppress the poison. But these people were not. In no time, the scene was littered with corpses. Young Master Yan Hua was frightened. A crack appeared on the pendant on his chest. Bastard, this young master's treasure. You wasted a chance for nothing. Most of the people on the scene had been killed. The darkness assassin turned back and tried to assassinate young Master Yan Hua. Even though he was a middle-stage giant, it took a lot of effort to kill the darkness assassin. Investigate. I want to know who sent them. Seeing his subordinates rushing over, Yan Hua scolded them harshly. Before the news of the assassination of young Master Yan Hua had spread, Yanhuang City erupted into chaos. A group of assassins who were proficient in stealth had infiltrated Yanhuang City and attempted to assassinate the leaders of the major powers. Since the assassination had failed, they immediately changed targets, and many people fell victim to it. In less than an hour, the entire Yanhuang City was in chaos. No matter which faction they belonged to, they were more or less assassinated. This kind of assassination was completely undetectable until the other party charged out They would not even have the time to react before they were killed in a single blow. Yan Huang City also went into lockdown at the first instance. The law enforcement team of Yan Huang City was dispatched quickly, but they were immediately attacked by assassins and lost 2/3 of their manpower. This time, the people of Yan Huang City were on tenterhooks. These assassins were even more terrifying than they had imagined. Even the late-stage magnates could not kill them in a short time. He allowed the other party to dive into the darkness. Yan Zixing immediately found out about this and mobilized the law enforcement team to kill the assassins. Soon, bad news came back. The assassins seemed to be living in the dark. Appearing and disappearing like a ghost, he perfectly concealed his aura. Before the enemy could find him, he was already killed. His movements were clean and swift, and his attacks were sure to hit his target. At this moment, Yan Zixing was enraged. Contact the assassin world immediately. I want to know who is behind all this. Yan Zixing knew that the impact of tonight's incident would be extremely bad. The main city of an elite faction had been attacked by a group of mysterious assassins. If they did not give an explanation, the reputation of the Yan Huang world would definitely be tarnished. From then on, it would become a joke. If they do not give an explanation, I do not mind personally going to the assassin world to have a good talk with them. Yan Zixing first thought of the assassin world. Other than them, no one else was proficient in such concealment techniques. Brother Yan, you have misunderstood our assassin world. Yan Zixing sent a thought in front of him. The thought turned into a black-clothed man. His entire body was wrapped up, and his features could not be seen clearly. This person was the master of the assassin world, Black. Everyone knows what the assassin world is like. Can you guarantee that these assassins have nothing to do with the assassin world? Yan Zixing snorted coldly. Don't think that the headquarters of the assassin world is hidden. As long as I want to find the assassin world, I will definitely find you in less than 3 days. Don't underestimate the ability of a third-step expert. Black was aggrieved. He did not dare to underestimate the anger of a third-step expert. Moreover, the impact this time was very bad. When the big and small factions were gathered, they were attacked by a group of assassins. This was not a good thing for the assassin world. Those who did not know would think that the assassin world wanted to catch everyone in one fell swoop. Brother Yan, our assassin world is notorious, but it does not mean that we will act recklessly. This ambush could not have been done by someone from our assassin world. Black tried his best to explain. This matter, our assassin world will definitely get to the bottom of it and give Brother Yan a satisfactory answer. The black-clothed man exploded, and the thought dissipated. Yan Zixing frowned. Black is arrogant, but it does not mean that he will act recklessly. The assassin world defending 33 small saint realms in one go is definitely not a wise thing to do. This matter should have nothing to do with them. You're courting death. Yan Zixing shouted towards the darkness, and 2 jingguang beams shot out from his eyes. The jingguang turned towards the darkness, and with a plop, 2 corpses fell from the darkness. What a powerful assassin! He actually managed to sneak in. No wonder those people fell for his trick. Before they finished sighing, the assassins on the ground disappeared again. One appeared in front, and the other appeared behind. They stabbed down with daggers, and as soon as they got close, the 2 instantly exploded into a bloody mess. This time, Yan Zixing's expression changed. They were clearly killed by me, but they can still attack. This, no matter who it was, they would not be able to understand this matter no matter how much they thought about it. Not long after, the other 4 top forces all arrived, and their complexions were not very good. It seems that you guys are the same as me. You have also been assassinated by them. Yan Zixing threw the corpses and looked at the 4 people. When did such a group of assassins appear in the sacred world? Not only are they proficient in concealment, but they also have a strong life force. Their daggers are dipped in poison and their methods are vicious. Bai Bo's face was dark. They are very bold. They clearly know that assassinating us won't work, but they still dare to come and assassinate us. I am even more interested in the mastermind behind this. Luo Xing of the Blackwater world also had a dark expression. This kind of assassination method was completely a provocation. If we don't find them, these people will be even more arrogant. Very impressive methods. The entire Yanhuang world is in chaos. Brother Yan, we have to deal with this quickly. Wan Taijun reminded. Chapter 23:11. The 5 top forces naturally had their own reasons for holding the small Saint Realm ranking tournament. For the time being, they had achieved the result they wanted. But now, a group of assassins had appeared out of nowhere, and all of them had extraordinary abilities. Even giant powerhouses had fallen into trouble. This was undoubtedly a provocation to them. No matter who the mastermind was, from this moment on, they would blacklist the other party. As long as they found clues, they would definitely destroy the other party. No one could remain unscathed after fending the 5 top forces. Yan Zixing immediately arranged for the first step experts to encircle the assassins in the shadows. Once the first step experts attacked, they really found the assassins with their powerful spiritual senses. However, there was a slight deviation in the encirclement. The assassins hid in the darkness and came and went freely. This was beyond their expectations. Moreover, they were in Yanhuang City, and a large-scale attack was impossible. They could only watch helplessly as the assassins fled. Every first step expert had always felt helpless when dealing with some small bugs hiding in the darkness. However, tonight they experienced the feeling of helplessness. After Yan Zixing heard the news, he was shocked again. It was the same for the other 4 top forces. They had no choice but to send out second step experts. When the second step experts attacked, the effect was immediately seen. One by one, the dark assassins were found and killed in a few rounds, leaving only their corpses behind. Unbeknownst to them, at this time, there were also people observing the second step experts. Second step experts are indeed strong. They have broken through a whole new level of strength and have perfect control of the great Tao power. It seems that this second step expert should be able to control the great Tao of gravity within a certain range, and that one should be able to teleport a short distance. 100 dark assassins had assassinated many famous figures, but they were quickly surrounded and killed by the second step experts. From the beginning, Lin Fei did not think that they could withstand the attack of the second step experts. It was reasonable for them to be killed. Lin Fei realized the tyrannical strength of the second step experts through observation. Not enough. This is still not enough. This caused a riot in Yanhuang City. It could not be sustained for too long. For Lin Fei, the effect would only be average. It seemed like he could only send out another batch of dark assassins. This time, Lin Fei had sent out 500 darkness assassins. He had also put in a lot of capital. Compared to the terrifying amount of energy he would gain, all of this was worth it. The 100 darkness assassins were quickly found. Not a single one of them was left alive. Once they were captured, Lin Fei would control them to commit suicide, erasing all information. Even if an unparalleled expert acted, they wouldn't be able to find any useful clues. The commotion caused by the 100 darkness assassins did not stop. 500 darkness assassins sneaked in. Yanhuang City's old devil Yan, listen up. We are the Avengers. We, the Avengers, will never forget what you have done to us. The purpose of the Avengers is revenge. After the 500 darkness assassins had infiltrated Yanhuang City, Lin Fei had controlled a darkness assassin to say these words. His voice reverberated throughout the entire Yanhuang City. Ah, no. Not again. Too scary. We can't hold on any longer. Another giant powerhouse has been killed, and it was a one-hit kill. Run. With the addition of 500 dark assassins, the Yanhuang world was thrown into chaos. Yan Zixing heaved a sigh of relief. Just as he was thinking about this matter, the voice that came from the night was especially clear. He stood up. Avengers, the holy masters of the other four top forces, also stood up and looked at the sky outside. Their expressions were very strange. They had actually never heard of this force before. They seemed very unfamiliar. Through their tyrannical strength, they could clearly see the situation within Yanhuang City. Those troublesome assassins were constantly appearing and disappearing. Every time someone would fall, Yanhuang City was also in complete chaos, especially when the giant powerhouses were helpless against them. With the previous experience, the darkness assassins were even more agile. At the same time, they spread out within Yanhuang City, giving the 2 second-step experts in the night sky a slight headache. Lin Fei hid near the statue, perfectly concealing his aura, waiting for the right opportunity. The Avengers. I believe they will definitely be shocked. In the end, they can't figure out their origins, and this will eliminate a lot of suspicion. The Avengers was a name that Lin Fei had casually come up with. It was just enough to fool them. Master, Yan Zixing and the other 4 are about to attack. Your chance is here. Make use of this chance to sneak into the statue. The little devil immediately reminded. There's only one chance. I will grasp it well. After sacrificing 600 darkness assassins, I have to get something back. Lin Fei was actually waiting for the 5 elite holy masters to make their move. In the instant that the 5 elite holy masters made their move, 5 powerful spiritual senses shrouded the sky above Yanhuang City. Although the 500 darkness assassins were proficient in stealth, they were completely exposed at this moment. Under the pressure of this spiritual sense, everyone was unable to move. This was the terrifying pressure of a 3rd-step expert. Once a 3rd-step expert makes his move, he is indeed awesome. He can suppress all the energy waves in Yanhuang City, as expected of a 3rd-step expert. A pity that they are under my control. Lin Fei was not at all surprised by this result. If a 3rd-step expert did not have any ability, how could he be a 3rd-step expert? Long live the Avengers! It was not just the people of Yanhuang City who were suppressed. The 500 darkness assassins were also suppressed. One of them shouted, "Long live the Avengers," and chose to self-destruct. Bang, bang, bang! The 500 darkness assassins choosing to self-destruct was not a simple move. It could easily destroy Yanhuang City and raze it to the ground. Yan Zixing naturally would not let such a thing happen. Otherwise, Yanhuang City would still have face. Suck! Yan Zixing opened his mouth and sucked at Yanhuang City. Instantly, the energy from the self-destruction was guided by a powerful aura and was continuously absorbed into his body. Yan Zixing's body did not react at all. The terrifying impact of the energy that could destroy Yanhuang City was all absorbed into his body. When the 500 darkness assassins self-destructed, Lin Fei turned into nothingness. He came before the statue and tore a hole in the hundreds of millions of spirit designs. He successfully snuck in. Within the statue there was a space of its own. Powerful spirit designs and restrictions were set up together. There was no distinction between you and me. The slightest touch would result in death by the spirit designs and restrictions. Take a deep breath, one step at a time. In Lin Fei's mind, he already had the system's route of entry. Every single restriction was recorded. Lin Fei nimbly moved around, avoiding the array formations and restrictions without triggering any reaction from the array formations and restrictions. Chapter 23:12. The moment Yan Zixing's thought popped up, it was immediately suppressed by reason. The elder ancestor's statue has accumulated generations of spirit, designs, and restrictions. It has always been a killing move of the Yanhuang world. Unless it's those people, who else would be able to barge in? Moreover, if I wanted to barge in, I would definitely cause a commotion. I must be being paranoid. It was because of his absolute trust in the statue of the elder ancestor that Yan Zixing had missed a chance to discover it. When he found out later, he suspected that the appearance of the Avengers might have been a diversion. Of course, this was a story for another time. At that moment, the 5 top powerhouses frowned. This kind of attack was very similar to a certain person's. Using their powerful divine senses, they discovered that Di Tian was standing at the door, protected by 2 first-step powerhouses. There were several corpses in front of him, and they immediately ruled out Di Tian as a suspect. After the explosion of Yanhuang City was resolved, the 5 top experts gathered together, deep in thought. In the next second, they all returned to Yan Zixing's residence. "This is strange." Bai Lang frowned. "When did such a strong force appear in our sacred world? Their assassination skills are no weaker than those of the assassin world. For a moment, I even suspected that Black was behind this. I have never heard of the Avengers, not even a hint of them. I can guarantee that this was a sudden attack by them to catch us off guard." Luo Xing's face was dark. It was already dark, and now it was even darker. One could only see the murderous intent on his face. "We have to investigate with all our might. No matter what, we cannot allow such a mysterious force to hide in the dark. This will be very disadvantageous to us." Wan Tiejuan's murderous intent surged. "Have you all ever thought that the Avengers might be like those from back then?" Holy Master Blood Prison's face was dark, as though he was recalling something. There was a trace of unnaturalness in the depths of his eyes. "Damn, these spirit designs are indeed terrifying. Without the little devil to help analyze them, whoever comes will die." Lin Fei carefully made his way through. No matter who it was, when faced with hundreds of millions of spirit designs and restrictions, they would definitely feel numb. If they were not careful, they would be annihilated. They would not even be able to save themselves. Lin Fei looked nervous, but he was actually very relaxed. According to the system's position, he could enter through the gap. Moreover, he had spatial abilities, so he could easily move through. Inside the statue, it was much bigger than Lin Fei had imagined. For the time being, Lin Fei did not sense the existence of the terrifying energy. Based on his intuition, the energy should be fixed in a certain area. What he needed to do now was to dive to the bottom. Traversing through the dangerous spirit designs, Lin Fei's movements were swift. At the same time, he gained a new understanding of the control of the Yanhuang world spirit designs. On the way down, the danger of the array formations and restrictions began to increase. Lin Fei's mind was on high alert, and he did not dare to be careless. Just based on the aura coming from the array formation, it would only take a moment to take his life. 2 hours later, Lin Fei arrived at the depths of the statue space. "It's really here." After passing through the last array formation, the array formation behind Lin Fei disappeared. Not far in front of him, large and small terrifying energy turned into birds and beasts, each of them abnormally powerful. Voila! In the space, a sharp claw struck, as though it wanted to tear everything apart. It was aimed at Lin Fei's head. The strength of this attack directly reached the level of a first-step expert. With a thought, Lin Fei activated the body of 10,000 curses. The sharp claw landed on his head, and the incantations that filled the sky shattered. The terrifying strength shattered the incantations 3 times. After forcefully withstanding the attack of the sharp claw, Lin Fei realized that he could not fight it head-on. Just as the thought emerged, a cold wind blew behind him, and a giant finger poked at his back. This attack came without a sound. Lin Fei's blood boiled. The incantations continued to shatter, and he blocked the attack by a hair's breadth. "Master, the origin energy in this place has developed a trace of intelligence, and it can attack instinctively. If you fight with this origin energy, it will be very disadvantageous for Master." Lin Fei said angrily, "Hurry up and activate Forceful Plunder, and collect all these D*MN origin energy. Fighting against the origin energy, and even consuming it, Lin Fei would never agree. This kind of price is not worth it. No problem, let's start immediately. As his voice fell, a huge whirlpool formed around Lin Fei's body. Once the whirlpool opened, any attack that fell into the whirlpool would immediately be broken down and turned into numbers. When Lin Fei saw the system's origin energy units shoot up like a rocket, he finally revealed a trace of a smile. When I absorb all the origin energy, I will have a super trump card. Let's see who is the unlucky one. Lin Fei sat down cross-legged. Hua hua hua! The origin energy at the bottom of the statue resisted at first, but in the face of the huge plunder ability, the origin energy was unable to resist and was continuously absorbed. This process lasted for a full hour. Don't look at how long an hour is. The origin energy obtained by forceful plunder has become a terrifying number. When Lin Fei saw this, he could not help but laugh out loud. I'm rich. I'm really rich. An unending stream of origin energy was being plundered. Lin Fei's own strength did not increase by much, but when he unleashed a big move in one go, it was definitely terrifying enough to make people tremble. If it was before, Lin Fei would only be able to unleash the attack of a first step ranker, and the duration would not be long. After all, in these 10 years, the consumption of origin energy was extremely high, and if all of them were to explode together, he would at most be able to unleash an attack of a second step ranker. Right now, Lin Fei could be said to have taken an important step forward and instantly grasped a powerful explosive move, a trump card in hand. I've finally finished absorbing it. Lin Fei did not ruthlessly absorb it all, leaving behind a thin layer. From the outside, the Yan Huang ancestor statue maintained its endless pressure. However, only Lin Fei himself understood that this statue was clearly just an empty shell. The real golden jade on the outside was rotten inside, and even if Yan Zixing stood in front of it, he would not be able to see the changes within. After a long period of time, the formation restrictions had strangely fused into one. There was me in you, and there was you in me. It was no longer a simple formation restriction. Lin Fei had also spent a long time with the powerful system before he had the confidence to enter. Without personally experiencing it, he would definitely not be able to imagine how terrifying it was. Leaving behind a thin layer of origin energy, Lin Fei was also worried that others would be able to see through it. Master, go down and take a look. There seems to be some good stuff at the bottom. The little devil reminded. There's still something else. Without the attack of the origin energy, Lin Fei completely relaxed and calmly moved down. In a moment, he arrived at the bottom of the statue space and could touch the ground. His feet were on the ground. Altar. It turned out that at the bottom there was an altar. Chapter 23:13. Underground. After losing the envelopment of the origin energy, a black stone altar appeared. There were 18 huge pillars standing around it, giving off an ancient aura. At the beginning, Lin Fei mistakenly thought that it was an altar. When he looked carefully, a formless terror rose from the bottom of his heart. F***CK, this isn't an altar. Around the altar, there were a total of 18 huge metal chains that flickered with starlight. Each of them was tied to the center of the altar, and there was something that looked like a human, but not a human. This must be a big secret. There's actually a person tied up inside the statue of the Yan Huang ancestor. It seems like those 18 chains are not ordinary items. To be able to not be affected by the origin energy, what a great thing. Lin Fei did not lean forward, but instead retreated backwards. In this kind of place, Lin Fei could not be careless. Little devil, are you trying to trick me? Maybe the guy who is restricted on the altar is a super expert. Lin Fei scolded the little devil. To be able to appear in such a place, Lin Fei suspected that the other party's strength was at least at the 3rd step, or even higher. Such a tyrannical person, killing him was too easy. If he had known that this would happen, Lin Fei would not have been able to kill him. Relax, the guy on the altar has been dead for a long time. He doesn't have any life force. The little devil came to the altar. Master, you don't have to worry. On the other hand, this corpse is a good thing. According to my analysis, at its peak, it would have reached the peak of the 5th step. Lin Fei took a deep breath. This is a 5th step expert? My God, to be able to suppress the other party here. He is definitely not a simple 5th step expert. Perhaps he is a peak existence among the 5th step experts. No wonder. I was curious from the start. Why is there a statue in Yanhuang City? There's no need for this at all. This doubt had indeed popped up in Lin Fei's mind before. However, he had never thought that there would be such a big secret. Master's analysis is very reasonable. It is very likely that this involves some secrets of the wasteland continent. With the current strength of the sacred world, it is impossible to suppress a suspected 5th step expert. It is also possible that this was done by that mysterious force back then to master whether or not it is a secret from back then. This specific corpse is really a rare good thing. Lin Fei had indeed never thought about it. There was such a good thing at the bottom. Even if it was not a 5th step expert's corpse, even if it was a 4th step expert's corpse, it would still be worth it. After modifying it, it would at least be a 3rd step expert's corpse. Then what are we waiting for? Put it away immediately. Lin Fei could not wait any longer. In the past 10 years, Lin Fei had tried to enter the central area of the boundary wall battlefield, but he had failed time and time again. Now he found a powerful skeleton. Naturally, he was very tempted and couldn't wait to get out of here. This was also because Lin Fei had been lucky. If the other party had been alive, Lin Fei definitely wouldn't have had chance. For example, the imprisonment chains were as sturdy as mountains, and at the same time, they had been infused with different materials, which gave them a certain restrictive ability. Return. Now that the other party was dead, Lin Fei was relieved. The system retrieved the sturdy chains on the spot. It did not want to expose any information and arouse suspicion. Without the shackles, Lin Fei put the corpse back into the system space. He was now sure that the other party was dead. Master, come and take a look. There are words here. They should have been left behind by the owner of this corpse. I think you must come and take a look. Without the support of the origin energy, the altar became useless. There was no danger. Lin Fei came to the altar and left bloody words on it. Before he got close, he felt an endless chill, as if he had fallen into an endless rain of blood. At this critical moment, the little devil used the origin energy. A long saber blasted away the endless rain of blood, and Lin Fei regained his freedom. It was too dangerous. How could these words be so terrifying? I was so close to being killed by these bloody words. Lin Fei's back was sweating. Now he had no doubt that when the other party was alive, he was at least a 4th step expert. Master, I'm sorry. The little devil also knew that it had done something wrong and immediately apologized. You know that this kind of power has no effect on our energy bodies. You didn't know that the bloody words are directed at the body. Master, wait a moment. I will help you suppress this chill, and then you can watch. Lin Fei was indeed quite frightened. Just a few words were terrifying to such an extent. Did he really think that he could kill anyone he wanted to? Master, it's done. Lin Fei looked at the bloody words again. Previously, the terrifying power had been suppressed, and a few words were written intermittently on it. Among them, there were a few words that contained boundless killing intent, as if the entire world was filled with killing intent. With a slight look, Lin Fei was completely shocked and barely managed to see through some tricks. From the intermittent words, he could vaguely guess that this rancor seemed to be related to the 1st generation Yanhuang ancestor, and the other party mentioned the Yanhuang ancestor intentionally or unintentionally. Could it be that the Yanhuang ancestor suppressed the other party here? Lin Fei guessed based on the clues, this relationship is too deep and it's been too long. However, these words seem to be worth using. Lin Fei was not interested in continuing to guess. In any case, he was already dead, but these words in blood did not change much over time, so their value was still very high. Do you have the confidence to create these bloody words? With such a good opportunity in front of him, Lin Fei would not miss it. Even if I lose some of my power. I can do that. The little devil nodded. There should be a certain gap in power. According to the analysis, the power of the blood words can still be maintained around the power of a second-step expert. The difference is that big. Lin Fei had personally felt it just now. No matter what, the power was at least at the third step, or even at the peak level. Taking it down will consume a certain amount of energy. It's pretty good for master, the little devil said. Lin Fei thought so too. If he could use it as a trump card at a critical moment, wouldn't he be able to instantly kill the other party if he threw out the blood words? That scene would definitely be spectacular. The powerful ability of the system was once again displayed. Using its ingenious ability, it really peeled off the blood words one by one. During this period, it failed a few times, and a few of the blood words lost their power. In the end, Lin Fei still obtained 35 blood words, which was equivalent to being able to unleash 35 attacks from a second-step expert. 35 times. Lin Fei was excited. I was originally worried about the trip to the wild, sacred mountain secret realm. With the power of these blood words, I can at least fight against them. Chapter 23:14. Nothing. Still no news of the Avengers? Appeared out of nowhere. Yan Huang City, City Lord Residence. Yan Zixing frowned. According to his spies, he had mobilized all the power of the Yan family, but still could not find any information on the Avengers. It was as though they had appeared out of nowhere. This was not good news. Yan Huang City had been attacked by the mysterious Avengers. Although they had been dealt with in the end, it was because they had chosen to self-destruct. After eliminating Di Tian as a suspect, the Yan family had mobilized all their power, but to no avail. It was as though they did not exist. Father, this must have been planned for a long time. We can slowly arrange for people to investigate from here. Yan had also been assassinated and was fuming at the mention of this. The sacred realm is so big, I don't believe we can't find them. Yan Zixing had tried to use the self-destructing corpses to find the nest of the other party. In the end, he discovered that there was no information on these corpses, as though they had been erased. Whether the Avengers were real or fake, Yan Zixing had to take it seriously. If there was a first, there might be a second. He had to be cautious. Little Z, you are usually smart. What do you think these people are after? Or are they just trying to mess with the 5 top powers? Yan Zixing looked at his daughter, Yan Zi. Yan, whose eyes flashed with displeasure. In the entire Yan clan, the only person he disliked was this sister of his. No matter if it was in terms of cultivation talent or intellect, she was better than him. She also had the support of a large number of strong cultivators in the Yan clan. Now she was on par with him. Little sister, why don't you say something? Perhaps you can find something. Yan was said with a smile. Yan Zi did not mind. She frowned slightly. Father, I feel that they are creating a diversion. Yan interrupted. Humph, creating a diversion. Little sister, are you muddle-headed? There doesn't seem to be anything in Yan Huang City that is worth their attention, right? Is there a need to create a diversion? I think there is no need at all. Yan Zi was used to her big brother's mockery. It was as though she would feel uncomfortable if she did not fight back. Father, why don't you think about it carefully? Why would those people make trouble at this time? What's the difference between a day earlier and a day later? In that case, it could only be said that what the other party was worried about was the Void Fire Mystery Realm. Since that was the case, it could only be said that the other party was not strong enough. Perhaps. Otherwise, just based on these assassins, they can move stealthily. as long as they target those below the level of an unparalleled expert. How many people in Yanhuang City can stop them? Yan Zixing had been pondering all this while. There had to be something wrong with this assassination attempt against Yanhuang City. For example, there was no need to assassinate third-step experts like them. It was completely unnecessary. Yanhua laughed coldly. Little sister, what you said is correct. But why do I feel that something is wrong? Do they need a reason to make things difficult for us? Our Yen family is one of the top 5 forces. Perhaps it's just some of our enemies from back then who still hold a grudge and want to attack our Yen clan at this time. They're just a bunch of shameless and useless people. Lord Father, you don't need to care about them at all. I'm willing to investigate the whereabouts of these people, capture them one by one, and use their blood to atone for their sins. Yan Zi indeed felt that there was another motive behind this incident. It seemed to be attracting everyone's attention. If Yan Zi really wanted to find the crux of the matter, she really had no idea. Her instincts told her that this was a diversion, but she did not know if the other party had achieved their goal. In the end, Yan Zixing handed the matter over to Yanhua, leaving Yan Zi in the room. This made Yanhua very uncomfortable. Fortunately, he had taken responsibility for this matter. As long as he did it well, he would definitely leave a good impression in his father's eyes. Little Z, your big brother's temper is like this. Don't take offense. Yan Zixing laughed. From the bottom of his heart, he still liked his daughter a little more. His eldest son's ability to handle matters was more or less questionable. I won't. Yanzi laughed. However, father has to pay attention to the matter of the Avengers. From their actions to their self-destruction, it's easy to see that they are not an ordinary force. Perhaps they are a strong force that has been hiding for a long time. They are indeed not ordinary. Yan Zixing sighed. The future of the sacred world will not be peaceful. This trip to the eerie flame mystic realm is also your chance. You must grasp it. Yan Zi looked at her father's serious expression. It was an expression that was rarely seen. She could not help but ask, Father, the future of the sacred world, will it really? Yan Zixing stretched out his hand and set up a restriction, isolating all sound. Even a third-step expert would not be able to hear anything. Do you know what will happen in 100 years? 100 years? Yan Zi hesitated for a moment. Then a thought flashed across her mind. Father, are you talking about that prophecy? You are very smart. Now, there are probably only a few people who still remember this language. Yan Zixing seemed to be reminiscing about something. In 100,000 years, we will rule over this world and reform the land. Father, could it be true? Yan Zi's eyes flashed with shock. Lin Fei did not know that someone had almost guessed the truth based on some clues. The modified human is quite useful. As long as I don't make a move, no one will be able to see anything wrong. After returning to the VIP building, Lin Fei put away the modified human and was completely relieved. In the courtyard of the VIP building, Lin Fei had set up some equipment. He could clearly see that after the assassination attempt, this place had indeed been searched by divine senses. There were still 5 extremely tyrannical and terrifying auras. Apart from those 5, there was no one else. This trip is a great harvest. Each of the 35 blood words is priceless. There is also this tyrannical corpse. It is time to transform and refine it. This was the most powerful corpse that Lin Fei had obtained. When the strength of the corpse reached a certain level, it could also be transformed into a terrifying existence. Taking advantage of the limited time, Lin Fei began the transformation process. Fortunately, Little Fiend could undergo the transformation automatically through the system and did not need to be brought outside. This saved him a lot of trouble. He was really worried that the aura would leak and attract the 5 third-step experts. Little Fiend, your appearance must be ferocious, the kind that will scare people at first glance. The remnant aura on your body must be wiped clean. I don't want to be recognized by others. If that happens, it will definitely be a big problem. Lin Fei requested Little Fiend to carry out the transformation. In order to transform this corpse, it was worth it. This level of corpse would be useful to anyone, but the greatest use was in Lin Fei's hands. Chapter 23:15. The Avengers were well known in the Sacred Realm. No one knew the true background of the Avengers. In fact, this was the first time they had heard of it. Yan Huang City had been locked down for a few days. After confirming that there was no danger, the lockdown was lifted, and Yan Huang City regained its freedom of entry and exit. Privately, a group of people were studying the assassin from that night. No matter how big the matter, it was quickly replaced by the eerie flame secret realm. Everyone knew about the savage sacred mountain. It was the most glorious place in history. Those who established a sect there all had deep backgrounds. If not for the Great War, the savage sacred mountain would still be the most sacred place in the world. A secret realm on the wild sacred mountain, no matter how long it had been, was always filled with endless temptation. Even if it was an old treasure, its power was still not to be underestimated. The day of the eerie flame secret realm drew nearer, and everyone's thoughts were on it. This time, the 5 top powers had publicly announced the location of the secret realm, allowing anyone to enter. This was a sensational event no matter where it was. Some people suspected that the 5 top powers were plotting something, but they were quickly drowned out. The 5 top powers coveted you. Go or not, no one was forcing you. With everyone saying this, those who had doubts were no longer suspicious. No one was forcing them to go. Whether they went or not was up to them. It was time for the eerie flame secret realm to be open to the public. Countless powers, big and small, had gathered in Yanhuang City. Without exception, they were all aiming for the eerie flame secret realm. Everyone wanted to find some treasures in the secret realm. Even if it was a low-grade treasure, it would still be worth a lot outside. The appearance of the 5 top holy masters on the square set off a wave of cheers. The eerie flame secret realm is rumored to have been established on the wild sacred mountain by a powerful force called the eerie flame sect. It has been passed down for millions of years. Yan Zixing briefly explained the history of the eerie flame secret realm. For this trip to the eerie flame secret realm, our 5 top powers will open up a transmission channel on the square. Everyone can use the transmission space to reach the outer region of the eerie flame secret realm. Yan Zixing's words excited everyone again. Who didn't know how dangerous the savage sacred mountain was? Very few people dared to enter the savage sacred mountain. Out of 10 people who entered, at least 9 would lose their lives. It was said that back then, when the savage sacred mountain shattered, it was demonized by a mysterious power. That region produced a terrifying demonized black wind that was extremely powerful and could even form a demonized storm. Everyone was excited that the 5 peak powers had opened up a teleportation channel. It would save them a lot of trouble. As long as they searched for treasures in the outer regions, they might be able to obtain a good harvest. 5 spatial portals appeared. The foundation of the 5 top forces was once again verified. This kind of teleportation array was not that easy to build. Only the top 5 forces could do such a thing. Void, fire, mystic realm, here we come. Charge. Fortune comes from danger. Let's go all out. One by one, the forces rushed into the portal. Every time there was a flash of light, someone was teleported over. I wonder how many of them will make it out in the end. The Fat On Bai Lang's face jiggled as he watched them rush into the portal. That's their choice. We gave them a chance. Luo Xing laughed coldly. So what if they sacrifice a few lives? They're all useless trash anyway. It's better to help us. I don't know if this method will work or not. We don't have much time left, one Taijun said slowly. I hope that we can succeed in one go. Why not? We've prepared for so long for this. The chance of success is very high. Sacred Lord Blood Prison wasn't worried about this. That's true. It's fine as long as the Avengers don't appear again. Outsiders couldn't hear what the 5 of them were saying. In the sacred world, there weren't many forces that had the ability to listen in on their conversation. They had set up layers of arrays and restrictions around them. What they didn't know was that there was a person in a not-so-far corner of the plaza who could hear them clearly. Damn, I told you that the Void Fire Mystic Realm wouldn't be so kind as to open it to the public. As expected, there's something fishy going on. It seems like we're going to sacrifice a bunch of people. Lin Fei's system wasn't within their range of restrictions. They would never have thought that someone would eavesdrop on their conversation right under their noses. Actually, Lin Fei didn't want to eavesdrop on their conversation. However, they were too close to him, so he had no choice but to eavesdrop. He just didn't expect to hear something unexpected. Master, you have 35 blood words now, which means that you can unleash 35 attacks of a second-step expert, Little Fiend analyzed. The modified human is almost complete. Master can really make a trip to the Void Fire Mystic Realm. I've locked onto them. As long as they enter the Void Fire Mystic Realm, Master can follow them secretly. At that time, you'll know what they're up to. Lin Fei thought about it and agreed. In fact, he wanted to know what was in the Void Fire Mystic Realm that was worth the attention of the 5 third-step experts. As one of the sacred lords of the small sacred world, Lin Fei didn't need to squeeze into a space portal with others. He had his own space portal. At the space portal, Lin Fei saw Yuming Zi and his group. After being chased out of their positions, the 2 of them were extremely jealous of each other, especially Yuming Zi. Di Tian, the Void Fire Mystic Realm is very dangerous. You have to be mentally prepared. Yuming Zi chuckled, and a stern look flashed in his eyes. If you go in and can't come out, you'll really become a big joke in the sacred world. You don't have to worry about that, Lin Fei said with a smile. You guys have to be careful. Threat? Who's threatening who? Lin Fei sneered in his heart. Yu Mingzi laughed and said, let's wait and see. Yu Mingzi and his group went in first and Lin Fei followed. With a flash of brilliance, they arrived at the periphery of the Void Fire Mystic Realm. This place was at the foot of a mountain. In front of them was a boundless mountain. Outside the mountain, the demonized black wind whistled past and hit the protective layer of the mystic realm again and again. Everyone was alarmed when they saw this. Lin Fei stood at the foot of the mountain. At this moment, there were many people on the way up. Before the wild sacred mountain was destroyed, this place should have been a forest. In the depths of the mountains, the Void Fire sect is located. Lin Fei thought to himself, Little Devil, monitor the Void Fire Mystic Realm carefully and see what's different about this place. No problem. Monitor the Void Fire Mystic Realm immediately. Chapter 23:16. The Void Fire Secret Realm was filled with danger. Lin Fei wasn't really interested in the treasures of the Void Fire Secret Realm. Even if there were, it wouldn't be his turn to enjoy them. The 5 top factions would have already swept through the place. He might not get anything good if he went. While no one was paying attention, Lin Fei found a safe place to hide. Little Fiend blocked all traces of Di Tian's aura and completely disappeared from the Void Fire Secret Realm. Lin Fei didn't stay idle. He kept observing the Void Fire Secret Realm. Yu Ming Zi Mo Yuan Yan Hua. Through the system, Lin Fei saw a group of familiar faces at a certain location in the mountains. There were at least 100 of them, and they were all elite experts. Is young master's information correct? Will Di Tian pass through here? Yu Mingzi asked. Almost half a day has passed. Could it be that Di Tian has changed his direction and isn't passing through here anymore? If he doesn't pass through here, we might have wasted our efforts. These people hid in the surrounding void and concealed their aura perfectly. They had put in a lot of effort. Everyone, please calm down. In the crowd, a middle-aged man said unhurriedly, Young Master said that Tian will definitely pass through here. Everyone just needs to be prepared. I believe that everyone doesn't want to be labeled as incompetent in the eyes of Young Master. The middle-aged man was sent by Young Master, so everyone had to give him face. Before the ranking competition started, they might have been able to put on airs. Now that everything was gone, they had fallen from the clouds. How could they give up now that they had finally found a big tree to lean on? The sacred world was very realistic. They used to be holy lords and were high above. Now that they had lost their holy lord status, the factions that were on good terms with them started to reject them. Some of the factions that they had offended were eyeing them covetously. If they didn't lean on Young Master, when would they wait? After the middle-aged man said that, everyone didn't dare to ask any more. They just waited obediently. Young Master, it should be Young Master Yanhua. That guy is just like what the outside world says petty. I just rejected him. But he actually set up a trap here to ambush me. Lin Fei was now rich and overbearing. He could carry out a simple surveillance of a place, and the effect was extraordinary. For example, he found a few acquaintances lying in ambush in the dark. After listening for a while, Lin Fei knew that the person they were dealing with was him. He took their words to heart. That Young Master invited an expert. He seemed to have predicted that I would head in this direction. He should be an expert who has condensed a special great Tao. Master, are you going to deal with them now, or? The little demon waved the small steel fork. Although the small steel fork looked good, its power was not to be underestimated. Lin Fei shook his head. There's no need. It's enough to scare them. Anyway, I haven't tried this function yet. They can be my guinea pigs. In Lin Fei's eyes, killing a few fellows who were only at the first step of being unrivaled was not difficult. Master is too sinister, creating a mysterious, peerless expert unknowingly. Interesting. The little devil laughed sinisterly. I'll help Master prepare immediately. Lin Fei did not deal with them, but he did not intend to let them go easily. The middle-aged man and his group continued to wait in the dark. After half a day, even he began to doubt himself. Did that Tian change his direction? You people are quite interesting. Are you planning to ambush someone? Just as everyone was getting impatient from waiting, a tyrannical divine sense swept over them. Immediately, a gloomy voice sounded in their ears, as if a demon had appeared beside them. Who is it? The middle-aged man narrowed his eyes. His huge divine sense followed, but he did not find any traces of the other party. A passerby. It was still a sinister voice, looking at your posture. This old man is quite interested. I might as well stop and take a look. You don't mind, right? The middle-aged man almost said that he minded very much. At this moment, the middle-aged man felt a chill in his heart. This place was specially chosen, and a high-level array had been set up around it, isolating all auras. Except for those who were proficient in arrays, outsiders would not be able to see anything. But now the other party had easily discovered their group, and their strength was at least at the second step, or perhaps even higher. Yu Mingzi and Mo Yuan's group were the same. They felt a chill in their hearts. The other party could discover their position, but they could not find the other party's whereabouts. The strength of the other party could be imagined. Senior, we are just resting. The middle-aged man laughed dryly. Ambush someone? He did not dare to say it. Who knew what the other party would think? What if, through the change of vision, Lin Fei could see their expressions clearly? This feeling of acting mysterious was quite good. With the change of special energy, no one would be able to find his position. It would only leave an impression in their hearts that he was an otherworldly expert. Oh, so you are resting. Lin Fei said, Hee, you really lie without beating your heart and blushing your face. You have the demeanor of me in the past. The middle-aged man looked embarrassed, but he did not dare to say a word. He searched with his divine sense, but there was no trace of the other party. In other words, the other party was very strong. It should be known that the middle-aged man was also a first-step expert, and he was at the peak, but he still could not find the other party's position. In front of this kind of expert who was not happy or angry, the middle-aged man put away his posture and mentioned the Yen family behind him. It was not a wise move, and it might even attract a strong enemy. Seeing all of you, I suddenly thought of something. Lin Fei said gloomily, "You are lucky. If it was me 10,000 years ago, I would definitely die. I hate people who lie the most." The middle-aged man and everyone present instantly felt a terrifying, killing, intent sweep over them. All the hair on their bodies stood up, as if they had fallen into an endless abyss, and they could not use any strength to resist. "Thank you for not killing us, Senior. If you have anything, just tell us. We will not refuse." The middle-aged man's attitude towards this mysterious person changed. He was not surprised at all. He hurriedly nodded and said, "I heard that the holy leaders of the 5 top forces are here. I'm quite interested in them. Bring your people, and help me tell them that the leader of the Avengers is here and wants to have a good chat with them." The middle-aged man's body went limp, and so did the people behind him. Only a few of them could keep a straight face, and they were all frightened. The leader of the Avengers! The middle-aged man's breathing quickened. He could not believe that he had encountered such a powerful person. Ever since that night, the Avengers had launched an assassination on the top forces. The next day, the news had spread throughout the sacred world. How could an ordinary person dare to provoke the 5 top forces in public? Why, are you not willing? A formless pressure came crushing over. Everyone broke out in a cold sweat. We are willing, 100% willing. The middle-aged man could not care so much, and he could only sigh that he was unlucky to encounter the leader of the Avengers. Okay, you can get lost. Chapter 23:17. The middle-aged man and Yuming Zi had never felt such a terrifying coldness before. Just what kind of identity was the leader of the Avengers? At the very least, the leader of the Avengers possessed quite a background in the Saints' world right now. He would definitely be feared by everyone, and he seemed extremely mysterious as well. They would never have thought that the leader of the Avengers would be able to sneak in without a trace. This was definitely something major. With Lin Fei's piss off, the middle-aged man could not care so much. He did not even put away the formation. Everyone dispersed. No one knew if they would be mercilessly slaughtered if they continued. It feels good to pretend to be a mysterious expert. This was Lin Fei's method. He had given them great pressure unknowingly. At the same time, he had used them to send a message. "I'm here." Lin Fei could imagine that this news would definitely be very interesting once it spread. This was the result he wanted. Let's just destroy this formation. After the middle-aged man and the others dispersed, they felt like there was a pair of eyes staring at them from behind at all times. They felt uneasy. Without any hesitation, they contacted the eldest young master Yenhua and gave a simple report. The eldest young master Yen, who could no longer remain calm. The leader of the Avengers has entered the Void Fire secret realm. The eldest young master Yen, who did not dare to hesitate either. He knew the strength of his trusted aide very well. A mysterious existence that the other party could not detect had to be above the 2nd step at the very least. Since the other party dared to say that he was the leader of the Avengers, he had to be at the 3rd step no matter how weak he was. The eldest young master Yen, who did not dare to hide this matter, who knew if the leader of the Avengers was nearby. He did not want to be hated by a mysterious expert. Most importantly, the other party had always been extremely mysterious and had never revealed his true identity. The eldest young master, Yen, who passed on the news as soon as possible. He did not need to worry about how to deal with the mysterious existence. What? The mysterious leader of the Avengers has already entered the Void Fire secret realm? When Yen Zixing heard the news, he revealed a rare look of shock. To be able to sneak in right under their noses. This was indeed not ordinary. When the other 4 saint sovereigns heard this, they all had different expressions. In truth, they were all a little shocked. While they had arranged for spies to search for the other party had quietly entered the void fire mystic realm. One had to admit that this fellow was very courageous. He was so bold that he wasn't afraid of being discovered by them. This was the reason why they valued him so much. "We've met our match this time," Bai Lang said. "He's telling us that this is the first time I've met such an opponent. So what if he's mysterious? In the end, he's just a coward. As long as he comes out, I guarantee that he'll die a horrible death." Luo Xing of the Blackwater world did not take him seriously at all. "Brother Luo, you're still so arrogant. Even if he doesn't come out now, there's nothing you can do." Wan Taijun chuckled and said, "We can't just keep waiting, right? Who knows how long that would take? Don't forget that the assassin that night is proficient in stealth. We definitely can't catch up to him in this aspect." From the words that Yen Zixing brought, they could clearly tell that the opponent that they had never met was at least a third-step expert. If the great Tao that he cultivated was terrifying, then it would be very troublesome. At their level, they were at the peak of the third step, and they were only one step away from the fourth step. However, this step wasn't that easy to break through. Any unparalleled third-step expert was a potential opponent. No one knew what kind of great Tao the other party had, and the different grades of the great Tao affected the evaluation of the other party's strength. "We need to look at this matter seriously." Sacred Lord Blood Prison had a solemn expression. "Not many people know about the Void Fire secret realm. Maybe this mysterious Alliance Master is also after that thing." Sacred Lord Blood Prison's words made the other four feel a little unnatural. This matter was too important to them, and they couldn't be careless at all. "If the Alliance Master doesn't show himself, we won't be able to find him with his mysterious concealment technique." Yen Zixing was also anxious. They didn't want to waste so much effort and end up giving it to an outsider. Hua, a divine sense that flowed like water, suddenly swept over everyone. The expressions of the 5 peak sacred lords became ugly when they sensed the powerful divine sense. 5 powerful divine senses instantly surged in the direction of the divine sense. "No one. It's not here. How is this possible? No, it's somewhere else. That's not right either." The 5 peak saint sovereigns reacted quickly, but the result was terrible. In their divine senses, the other party's divine sense had silently retreated like a receding tide, retreating extremely quickly. The scariest thing was that they couldn't find any trace of the other party. Although their powerful divine senses couldn't cover the entire Void Fire secret realm, they could at least cover more than half of it. However, the other party still didn't show himself. There wasn't even a trace of him. This was absolutely unbelievable. "Hee, is this how the 5 peak experts greet me?" Without warning, a sinister voice rang in their ears. When they focused, they heard the other party's voice. It seemed to come from all directions, and they couldn't pinpoint the exact location. This made their expressions change. "What kind of technique is this? I can't even find where the other party is. What kind of grand Tao power is this?" The 5 of them used their divine senses to communicate. "You are the Alliance Master?" Sacred Lord Blood Prison stared into the air and asked. "Don't you all know in your hearts?" It was still the same voice. It was still coming from all directions. "I remember that someone should have sent you a message." They had already thought that the other party was the Alliance Master, but when they confirmed it, they still felt extremely uncomfortable. They could feel a dangerous aura coming from the Alliance Master's body, and they knew that the other party was definitely a difficult person to deal with. What they didn't know was that Lin Fei was secretly laughing. The 5 peak sacred lords could clearly see the expressions on their faces. Once this got out, it would definitely be very interesting. "Then why did you come here?" Sacred Lord Blood Prison was very straightforward and didn't want to beat around the bush with this mysterious Alliance Master. "I am quite interested in the Void Fire secret realm. Lin Fei smiled and said, I came to take a look. Could it be that you don't agree? I don't seem to remember that the Void Fire's secret realm belongs to you. They didn't come with good intentions. Chapter 23:18. The 5 Peak Sacred Lords had planned for such a long time and were about to reap the fruits of victory. However, an unforeseen event occurred, and the one who came was an unknown Avengers Alliance leader. To them, this was as disgusting as eating a fly. From the other party's voice, until now, they were still helpless. They couldn't find any trace of the other party, not even a trace. From this point, it proved that the other party was not weaker than them. The 5 of them were publicly recognized experts in the sacred world, but they couldn't find the other party's location. One could imagine how difficult it was to deal with this person. There was nothing more helpless than the current situation. If they couldn't find the other party, even if they were strong, they could only stare. Alliance leader, since you are here, you must know about the Void Fire mystic realm. We won't say anything more. Sacred Lord Blood Prison said, There is indeed a treasure in the depths of the Void Fire mystic realm. It is a great Tao origin heart. We can give you 1/6 of it to show our sincerity. Lin Fei suspected that there was a top treasure in the Void Fire mystic realm. This was the first time he had heard of something like the Great Tao Origin Heart. Even the secret scriptures didn't mention it. 1/6 is not enough. Lin Fei said forcefully, This seat wants at least 3/6. As long as you agree, this seat won't do anything rash. Otherwise, everyone's efforts will be in vain. The 5 sacred lords revealed angry expressions, but they suppressed it. All right, 3/6 it is. Let's treat it as a friend. Sacred Lord Blood Prison agreed without any hesitation. All right, because of this, we are friends from now on. Ha ha ha. When they wanted to contact him again, the other party seemed to have disappeared from their divine senses. They didn't even feel anything. This was too unbelievable. He left. They didn't dare to be sure. Let's change to another place first, Yan Zixing suggested, and everyone agreed. Soon, everyone changed to another place and set up layers of arrays and restrictions. It seemed like this was the only way they could relax. What they didn't know was that Lin Fei was watching. Change location? Isn't it the same? Brother Shui, if we really hand over 3/6, that's almost equal to 1/2. Luo Xing's face darkened. That's too big a loss for us. That's right, we all know the importance of the Great Tao Origin Heart. If there were several Great Tao Origin Hearts, perhaps it wouldn't matter. But now there is only one Great Tao Origin Heart inside, and everyone can only take one. I'm afraid that the effect of increasing the grade of the Great Tao will not even reach 10% of the usual effect. Yan Zixing's expression was solemn. In fact, no one was satisfied with Blood Prison's agreement. Why don't we listen to what Brother Shui has to say? Wan Taijun knew the other party very well. He believed that he wouldn't give up such a huge benefit. Sacred Lord Blood Prison glanced at Wan Taijun. It seems like Brother One understands me the best. I know what everyone is thinking. That Alliance Master hasn't revealed his whereabouts and is just a rat hiding. How could I give away such a big benefit? In reality, I just want to lure that Alliance Master out, everyone immediately understood. Luo Xing's complexion brightened up. Brother Shui is indeed wise. As long as that Alliance Master dares to show himself, we can join hands to kill that fellow. Daring to snatch food in our territory, he's too bold. Everyone thought that this plan was feasible. I don't believe that the Alliance Master's Great Tao is of a higher grade than ours. In any case, our Great Tao is also an 8th grade Great Tao. Unless he has a 7th grade Great Tao, he will definitely lose. Bai Lang said confidently. The few of them discussed in detail how to ambush that Alliance Master. Every word they said fell into Lin Fei's ears. I knew that you guys didn't have any good intentions. Lin Fei sneered. You want to lure me out? Don't even think about it. Lin Fei still heard some useful information, such as the grade of the Great Tao. This was the trump card of some experts. The strength of a great Tao was related to the extent of one's strength. The 5 sacred lords were boastful, but there was also a trace of fear, such as the grade of the great Tao. Their great Tao is an 8th grade great Tao. Their achievements are ordinary. No wonder they haven't developed much. Lin Fei thought. He was very clear about the grade of the great Tao. The great Tao was a new kind of energy. The most basic was the 5 major attributes, which were metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. This was the most common great Tao. Basically, people without much talent would condense this kind of great Tao. According to the grade, the highest was a 9th grade great Tao, and the strongest was only around 8th grade. The more powerful and higher the grade of the unpopular great Tao, the greater the difference between the grades of the great Tao and the greater the disparity in strength. Basically, there was no need to contend against them. They could be killed in one move. This was also the reason why the 5 apex experts had fear in their hearts. The mysterious alliance master of the Avengers had come to the eerie flame, mystic realm. The 5 apex experts did not dare to underestimate him anymore. They immediately headed to the depths of the eerie flame, mystic realm. With their strength, few could keep up with them. Lin Fei followed unhurriedly, not daring to waste any time. In the mountains, many cave abodes appeared. Outside the cave abodes, there were array restrictions. Many factions occupied a cave abode. A group of people attacked the array restrictions and then rushed in excitedly. Lin Fei was not interested at all. These things were all ordinary items without much value. Only the great Tao origin heart that they mentioned was the real good stuff. Very quickly, Lin Fei discovered something. For example, the people who died outside the cave abode quickly turned into dry corpses. Their blood essence disappeared without a trace. Master, the eerie flame mystic realm is really weird. The lost corpses have their essence, blood, sucked clean. Maybe this is the reason why they open the mystic realm to the public. 7 analyzed. Lin Fei also felt that it made sense. At this height, how could they do something meaningless? Forget it. Our goal is them. We don't need to get involved in other matters. Lin Fei continued to catch up with them. Under the surveillance of the system, the 5 top holy lords came to the depths of the eerie flame, mystic realm. Here, the demonic black wind was rampant, turning the entire area into demonic black wind. There were whistling, demonic black wind everywhere. The ground was torn apart, and the entire area was a void. Only the demonic black wind came and went. When they came to this area, their faces turned serious. They each opened their Tao, protected themselves, and moved forward in the void. This place is very dangerous. The attack of the demonic black wind is at the 2nd step of the great Tao. No wonder they are so careful. Lin Fei was secretly shocked. Fortunately, the system did not affect them and kept following them. If it was before, Lin Fei might have had a headache. Now he did not need to have a headache. He had a way to enter. What a cunning guy. He actually set up a trigger restriction in the void. The 5 of them did not let go of any opportunity. They quietly set up a trigger restriction. It was very inconspicuous. They also suspected that the other party was following them. Once it was touched, they would know and make arrangements in advance. Chapter 2319. After passing through the void, the 5 top experts appeared on a barren mountain. This was the only mountain in the void. The endless demonic black wind wreaked havoc mercilessly. However, this mountain was like a boulder that hadn't been destroyed until now. Lin Fei knew that this mountain should be made of a special material with unusual special effects. He immediately let Little Devil start to analyze it. No matter what, for it to be able to last until now, it was definitely not an ordinary item. If it could be forged into a divine weapon or treasure, that would be for the best. The more of these items, the better. Someone had opened a cave at the top of the mountain. Sacred Lord Blood Prison and the others opened the restrictions and entered the cave. Lin Fei looked down. They were very cunning and had also set up restrictions. Unfortunately, this wasn't enough to stop the system. The cave abode on this mountain was very deep. Lin Fei suspected that it was not created by a hidden cultivator in the past. On the savage, sacred mountain, there were many similar cave abodes. Lin Fei was even more curious about the heart of the Great Path original path. What kind of nature-defying use did this thing have that it was worth them spending so much effort on it? According to the passageway of the cave, Lin Fei could easily tell that this place was definitely not safe before. There were many marks left on it. They must have worked together to break it open. Soon, they arrived at the end of the cave. However, at the end of the cave was not the treasure that Lin Fei was expecting. Instead, it was a sturdy stone door that was carved with ancient runes. It can't be, they are blocked by this stone gate. Lin Fei was very curious. No matter how powerful a mere stone door was, it would not be able to block the attacks of 5 peak experts. However, when they arrived in front of the stone door, their expressions became much more solemn. Our method is indeed effective. Yan Zixing stared at the stone door and revealed a look of joy. The patterns on it are starting to be filled with essence blood. As long as the essence blood covers the entire stone door, we will be able to move this final obstacle. They held a deep grudge against the stone door. Ever since they found out about the great Tao primordial heart, they spent a lot of effort and finally found this place. They barged their way in and were finally stopped by a stone door. That's right, it was this stone door. No matter what method they had, violence or other methods were better. He was unable to damage the stone door at all. In order to deal with the stone door, they had indeed put in a lot of effort. Later, they finally found relevant information in a place in the Void Fire mystic realm, which led to this scene. All we need to do now is wait. A smile appeared on Bai Lang's face. I'm really looking forward to the moment when the stone gate opens. However, will there really be a great Tao primordial heart inside? Luo Xing was a little worried. After all, we were only able to confirm it through clues. No one can guarantee that the great Tao origin heart is really inside. Yan Zixing shook his head. I don't think so. According to some information about the Void Fire mystic realm, this cave abode should be the cave abode of the strongest expert in the Void Fire mystic realm. Rumor has it that he was a 4th-step super expert with a great Tao. His great Tao was the legendary 6th grade great Tao. In the end, he secluded himself in the cave abode, and it is highly likely that the great Tao origin heart was left behind. Sacred Lord Blood Prison didn't think too much about it. Since we're already here, we just need to wait. I'm sure we'll know soon enough. Everyone stopped arguing and sat down cross-legged. Could the great Tao origin heart be something formed by the great Tao of an expert after his death? Lin Fei had a rough guess. It should be like this. Oh, right. Can you see the situation inside through the stone gate? Lin Fei slapped his forehead. How could he forget such an important thing? He just needed to take a look and he would know. They might not be able to do anything. But it wasn't a big problem for Lin Fei. The system's scanning ability was peerless, and it wasn't something that divine sense could compare to. Lin Fei was looking forward to seeing the situation inside the stone gate. If he knew the situation inside, he would be able to make arrangements as soon as possible. Let me try first. Lin Fei believed that the system would be very helpful. It's a little difficult. This stone gate isn't ordinary. It seems like it was refined using a special method. Little Devil controlled an invisible force and started to permeate it. Immediately he felt a resistance. I should be able to enter, but it will take some time. It's fine. I'll wait. Little Devil began to control this force and began to permeate the stone gate. Lin Fei continued on his way. He didn't want to miss the opportunity at the last moment. That wouldn't be worth it. The reason behind the opening of the Void Flame mystic realm to the public. Lin Fei had figured it out. It must be those who wanted to obtain the great Tao origin heart to break through their current realm and rush to the fourth step realm. These big and small forces that entered were nothing more than throwing their lives away. After they died, their blood essence would be absorbed and used to open the stone gate. A day later, 1/3 of the patterns on the stone gate were submerged in scarlet. According to the time, it wouldn't be long before they could enter the stone gate. Little Devil's speed was very fast, but he couldn't withstand the obstruction of the stone gate. The obstruction was invisible and not deliberately targeted. In addition, they couldn't make too much noise, so their progress wasn't very fast. However, compared to Yan Zixing and the others, their speed wasn't ordinary fast. At most, 2 more days should be enough. 2 days was acceptable to Lin Fei. According to Little Devil, if they relied on this method, it would take at least 10 days to half a month. This was still relatively fast. Lin Fei kept rushing to the depths of the void fire mystic realm. Along the way, he avoided the traps that they left behind. Unknowingly, he was about to reach the depths of the mystic realm. From time to time, the demonic black wind whistled past, and he would die if he wasn't careful. Along the way, Lin Fei was more or less exhausted. This was much more terrifying than dealing with enemies. No one knew when they would fall into this kind of limitless danger. When he was about to enter, Lin Fei's eyebrows twitched. A stream of light attacked from afar, emitting a terrifying aura. In the blink of an eye, it arrived in front of Lin Fei. It turned out that it was formed by the power of the Great Tao. Lin Fei instantly activated the invincible defense and the body of 10,000 curses. The other party's attack was very sudden. When the body of 10,000 curses was activated, the mantra was broken. The stream of light circled around Lin Fei, and the power of the Great Tao surged. This was instantly crushing Lin Fei's body. Hua hua hua! A large number of energy units were instantly consumed, and the attack of this power was completely cancelled out. As expected of Ditian, he even blocked this. A figure appeared in front of him. It was a middle-aged man. It was the trusted subordinate of young Master Yanhua, whom he had seen in secret. Ditian, you won't be able to escape today. Yu Ming Zi came out from behind. In order to wait for you, we gave up all our missions and waited for your arrival. Don't you feel honored? Chapter 23:20. He had been ambushed. Lin Fei never thought that he would encounter Yu Ming Zi and Mo Yuan's group again, especially under such circumstances. He became extremely interested in the mysterious, unparalleled expert. Yu Ming Zi, Mo Yuan, and some unknown experts surrounded Lin Fei in a square formation. In an instant, they set up a powerful formation to seal this space, forming a unique existence. Even if they fought a great battle inside, they wouldn't have to worry about their aura leaking out. They didn't want to be discovered by others. If someone got here first, it would be a waste of time. You guys are really persistent. To ambush me, you must have waited for a long time. Lin Fei smiled. Lin Fei's smile was undoubtedly a mockery of them. When this was mentioned, they couldn't help but think of the leader of the Avengers Alliance. They almost didn't have the chance to stand here. In their hearts, they blamed this on Lin Fei. To deal with you, so what if we waited a little longer? Yu Ming Zi stared at Ditian fiercely. Netherworld River, overturn the heavens and seas. Yu Ming Zi was the first to make a move. Under his rage, the Netherworld River swept over majestically. If one was swept by it, even if they didn't die, they would lose a layer of skin. As the Netherworld River swept over, the void constantly exploded. Once the astral winds appeared, they were suppressed by the Netherworld River. Everyone knew that Ditian was mysterious and his strength wasn't ordinary. In order to not give Ditian a chance to resist, they all decided to attack together and try to injure Ditian heavily. Lin Fei didn't want to waste time here. His target was the great Tao origin heart behind the stone door. You guys want to be my lab rats? I've decided to fulfill your wish. Yu Mingzi was the first to rush over. When he heard the words of the lab rats, his face turned sinister. You guys are about to die, yet you still dare to boast shamelessly. Lin Fei calmly took out a blood character. When this character was taken out, it emitted a chilling killing intent that engulfed the entire area. The seal on it was also undone. Yu Mingzi was the first to bear the brunt of it, and his hair stood on end. Not good. A blood-colored light wave swept over. Lin Fei activated the blood character and completely activated it. Although Yu Mingzi's Netherworld River was a pretty good treasure, it was torn apart by the blood-colored flowing light on the spot. It rolled over his body, and its might didn't stop there as it continued to roll over their bodies. Cough, cough, cough. Those people all vomited blood, and their faces instantly turned pale. This is the attack of a second-step expert. Damn it. We've been tricked. Tian has a trump card left behind by a second-step expert. Everyone's pupils shrank. In their eyes, Lin Fei had become a terrifying existence. A streak of blood-colored light had injured them, and even their armor had been damaged. You guys are pretty good. You were able to block the first wave of attacks. I wonder what the second wave will be like. Lin Fei was not surprised that a single word in blood had injured them. It was a pity that he had not been able to kill them. After all, this was not the original version, so it had more or less lost some of its power. He was very satisfied that he had been able to do this much. The second bloody word was taken out. Let's go. He has a second one. Yu Mingzi was scared out of his wits. His Netherworld River had been severely injured, and when he saw Tian take out a second one, he broke out in a cold sweat. He had used up all of his strength in the first attack, let alone the second one. They scattered in confusion, not caring about anything else. Even the middle-aged man was so scared that he didn't care where he was going. One attack had suppressed their attacks. How terrifying was that? Quickly remove the formation. I said earlier that we don't need the formation restriction. Now it's good. They were quickly blocked by the formation restriction. This delay allowed the second bloody word to come. It was still a streak of blood-colored flowing light. It swept over them like the autumn wind, and their figures fell from the sky. Why bother? Lin Fei didn't feel any heartache after wasting 2 bloody words. He could only say that they were unlucky. They had already given up. So why did they have to find another chance to ambush him? Lin Fei landed on the ground. The rocks were strewn with unparalleled experts. As for the giant late-stage experts, they had all been cut into pieces and were no longer breathing. You're pretty tough. Lin Fei glanced around. Yu Mingzi, Mo Yuan, and the others were all dead. Only the middle-aged man wasn't dead, but he wasn't far from death. His eyes were wide open, and his face was filled with unwillingness as he vomited large mouthfuls of blood. You! The middle-aged man kept vomiting blood, and his body couldn't move a single bit of energy. Only now did he realize that this Tian was much more terrifying than he had imagined. He didn't even need to make a move, and just used treasures to kill most of them. If he had known that Tian was so powerful, he wouldn't have come. There's no need for you. Lin Fei injected a streak of energy into the middle-aged man's body, stabilizing his injuries. I think you're still useful. You won't die, but from now on you're my man. Puppet bug attack. An hour later, the middle-aged man, no Zhang Feng, was already Lin Fei's man. After a round of torture, Zhang Fei completely accepted his fate. He didn't dare to resent him, as his life was more important. You said that the person who arranged for you to ambush me was one of young Master Yen. Was advisors? Lin Fei wasn't interested in anything else, but he was very interested in the guy who predicted his location. This kind of person was very dangerous. If possible, Lin Fei definitely wanted to kill him first. Yes, that bastard, Yen, who has a total of 3 advisors by his side. This time it was arranged by one of them. He is a second-step expert, and the Tao he condensed is a support type one. He can predict everything. Lin Fei was still puzzled as to how his location could be predicted. Indeed, these special support-type second-step experts weren't easy to deal with. They could take your life unknowingly, and it was really impossible to guard against them. You don't need to follow me now. After this trip back, continue to hide by young Master Yanhua's side. I believe he won't suspect you. Lin Fei said straightforwardly. He simply mentioned his future mission and sent Zhang Feng back. Little devil, the other party can predict my location. Is there any way to interfere with him? Lin Fei didn't want to be predicted by others all day long. That would be really troublesome. Lin Fei more or less knew how terrifying a second-step expert who condensed a special Tao was. If he underestimated them, he would definitely regret it. Although their combat strength wasn't strong, they were treasures to the major forces. I can disrupt this area for Master, but it needs to consume a large amount of energy. It can't be intermittent, and you have to maintain the output at all times. What a bottomless pit. Lin Fei thought for a while. Forget it. If this continued, it would consume a lot of energy. Chapter 23-21. After dealing with Yu Mingzi's ambush and harvesting the corpses of 7 or 8 first-step experts, Lin Fei was quite satisfied. It was not bad to be cannon fodder. Lin Fei continued on his way. When he arrived at the void space, the little devil sent good news. Lin Fei found a safe place nearby and opened up a temporary cave abode. He set up an array to isolate the aura and prepared to see what was inside. The 5 top-notch sacred lords had put in a lot of effort to open the stone door. Lin Fei really wanted to know the situation behind the stone door. In the entire ethereal flame, mystic realm, only the secret behind the stone door could interest him. 10 more breaths, and we can pass through the stone door, the little devil said. What about them? According to the analysis, they still need 12 days. This is still considering the number of people who died outside. Lin Fei chuckled and said, to think that they thought of such a method, using human lives to open the stone door. Unfortunately, they missed the best opportunity. At this moment, Lin Fei thought of a good idea. The first step was to see what was behind the stone door. If it was really the great Tao primordial heart, Lin Fei didn't mind fighting for it. He now had the capital to contend with it. I passed through. Lin Fei immediately shifted his gaze to the system vision. The originally dark scene suddenly became clear, and the surrounding things appeared in front of him. This was a large stone room, but it seemed spacious. On the surrounding stone walls, there were pieces of shiny crystals. Lin Fei couldn't recognize the origin of the crystals. There were at least thousands of crystals on the stone walls. They were bright and not dazzling. Instead, they looked very gentle. Master, this place is not ordinary, the little devil said. I don't know if Master has noticed, but time is stagnant here. Lin Fei squinted. After observing for a while, he couldn't help but be shocked. What a powerful method to completely stop time. Ordinary people can't do this. Even the current me can't reach this level. Lin Fei could move time forward or slow it down, but to keep time still was extremely difficult. And in this place, to be able to stop time in a place like this, that was truly amazing. He was originally curious about what was behind the stone door, but now, in Lin Fei's eyes, this place seemed unusual. Master, I know what this is. The little devil suddenly said, if I'm not wrong, this should be a time crystal. Each crystal contains an infinite power of time. Time crystal. Lin Fei came to a sudden realization. In one of the tattered records he had read, there was information about time crystals and space crystals. At that time, he hadn't paid much attention to it. According to the records, whether it was time crystals, space crystals, or other types of crystals, they all had extraordinary origins. Wanting to obtain them was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. In the stone room in front of him, there were more than 10 time crystals arranged on the stone walls. It could be imagined that the person who arranged it must have had extraordinary abilities. Lin Fei took a deep breath and turned to the center of the stone room. There was a huge stone coffin. The entire stone coffin was golden. He didn't know what material was used to make it, but it instantly gave people a feeling of grandeur. To arrange so many time crystals, I'm afraid it was for this golden stone coffin. Could it be that the great Tao origin heart is inside the stone coffin? Lin Fei analyzed. Can I invade the stone coffin and see what's inside? I'll try. Soon, the little devil regretfully told Lin Fei, Master, the material of the golden stone coffin is a rare material in the world. It prevents me from invading. I can't see through the stone coffin for the time being. Lin Fei was somewhat disappointed. That's right. To be able to arrange such a place, it's definitely not something mortals can do. The golden stone coffin must have a great origin. Could it be the tomb of those super powerhouses when the wasteland continent shattered? No, that's not right. If it's really those people's tombs, they shouldn't be placed in such a place. It would be strange if Lin Fei didn't think too deeply about such a grand arrangement and special material. Carefully analyze the structure of this stone room. Lin Fei didn't have the ability to get to the bottom of it, but the little devil could. All he had to do was pay some energy units. Even if it was not a small amount, in his opinion, it was completely worth it. Lin Fei came to know many things about the wild continent from the books. That was an era of turbulent times. Experts could be said to have reached the clouds. It could be said that combat emperors were everywhere. Giants roamed the streets. Matchless experts could be seen everywhere. There were even some powerful giants who could easily kill matchless experts. In the current holy world, the peak strength was not even 1/100th of the peak strength of the wasteland continent. If a mere third-step expert dared to call himself a peak expert, he would definitely be laughed at to death in the past. In this mysterious stone room, just the time crystals alone were worth cities. Any one of them would be extremely useful. Lin Fei didn't think that this place would be useless. Lin Fei decided to rest in the temporary cave abode and wait for the 5 peak experts to go in and understand the situation. It would be great to have a lab rat to check out the situation. If Sacred Lord Blood Prison and the others heard this, they would definitely vomit blood. They were peak experts. When did they become someone else's lab rats? Only someone like Lin Fei could say something like this. Around the time it takes for an incense stick to burn later, the little devil had a new discovery. Master, through the system's analysis and calculations, I discovered that this place isn't simple, the little devil said. The little devil said, according to the analysis and 3D scan, there should be a corpse inside the golden sarcophagus. No, it's not completely a corpse, but a corpse with a trace of vitality. The stone room is like a special balanced space, isolated from the flow of time. The most special thing is that the stone room is set up with array restrictions. There are more than 100 million array restrictions. In addition, the stone room, through the powerful array, secretly absorbs the free origin energy, which finally enters the golden sarcophagus. Finally, the result of my analysis is that the golden sarcophagus, the corpse in the golden sarcophagus, isn't completely dead. The person who set up this stone room should be this corpse with vitality. Lin Fei was really shocked. What kind of joke is this? The possibility is very high. It's more than 90%. The little devil was very serious. Master, it's best not to go up. This place is very dangerous. If those idiots really go in, they might have the Grand Tao origin heart, but they might not have the life to get it. Lin Fei had seen many powerful corpses, but none of them could compare to this one. He hadn't opened the golden sarcophagus yet, but he had an impression based on the little devil's words. Chapter 23-22. Outside the stone door, the 5 sacred lords all opened their eyes and stared at the lines on the stone door. They finally revealed a look of joy and closed their eyes once more. The stone door would completely open in another 1 or 2 days. The lines on the stone door started to form a complex picture as the blood-colored power invaded it. The Void Fire secret realm was filled with robbers, and it was either you die or I die. This was especially true for the 5 top forces. They were extremely vicious and killed anyone they saw. No one was able to escape from them. When the last line was covered by the blood-colored power, a weird picture appeared on the stone door. What a weird picture! I've never seen it before. It's not normal. They all opened their eyes, and they revealed puzzled expressions. They couldn't recognize the picture on the stone door, but the feeling they got was that it was not normal. This should be one of the races that existed on the wild continent at the very beginning. Sacred Lord Blood Prison stared at the stone door and said, "The picture of a special race appeared on the stone door. Who cares what they're doing? Let's go in and take a look first." Luo Xing couldn't take it anymore and was the first to push against the stone door. With a loud explosion, the stone door that didn't move at all was finally pushed open, and the stone door fell down. Luo Xing was the first to charge into the stone room and was stunned by the scene in front of him. Time crystal! This is a time crystal! Luo Xing's reaction alerted the others behind him. They also charged in and were stunned by the scene in front of them. The time crystals glowed brightly and were covered by an invisible power. Lin Fei received a new piece of information after they entered the stone room. "Master, the stone coffin is starting to change. It seems to be caused by them entering," little evil demons said. "I can guarantee that they're going to be unlucky." "It's good that they're unlucky. I'll just stay behind and enjoy the show." Lin Fei also started to laugh. "Don't stop. You must monitor the stone room at all times." Lin Fei's guess was correct. There was indeed a problem with the stone room. After a short moment of shock, the 5 peak sacred lords stared at the time crystal. This thing was extremely precious, and it was something that could only be found by luck. If they hadn't seen it before, they wouldn't have been able to recognize it. "We've found the right place. This should be the tomb of a top-tier expert." In order to prevent the corpse from being eroded by time, they placed time crystals around the tomb to ensure that time doesn't move. Bai Lang narrowed his eyes. "Not to mention whether or not we have the great Tao origin heart. Just these time crystals alone are enough for us to reap great rewards. There are over 1,000 time crystals here. If we divide it among the 5 of us, each of us will get around 200 pieces." Wan Taijun was very excited, which meant that he was going to divide it up soon. No one had any objections. After inspecting the stone room and confirming that there was no danger, everyone stared at the time crystals. Any time crystal was very useful. Whether it was forging treasures or other things, it was top-notch. After there were no objections, the 5 of them collected the time crystals. It was easy for third-step experts to dig out the time crystals. There was a total of more than 1,200 time crystals. When the last time crystal was dug out, time began to flow again. Little Fiend immediately noticed that the array formation restrictions in the stone room had started to change, which had actually escaped the attention of the 5 peak sacred lords. "They have stimulated the corpse in the stone coffin," Little Fiend said. "The life force of the corpse in the stone coffin is starting to recover." Lin Fei sighed softly. He didn't have a good impression of the 5 of them. They were all cunning people, so he was very happy to see them suffer. "Quickly open the stone coffin. The treasure might be inside." Luo Xing put away the time crystal and looked at the stone coffin with a fiery gaze. Just the stone wall alone was a bountiful harvest, so the treasure inside the stone coffin was not enough to make people go crazy. "Open!" Luo Xing's third-step strength surged into the stone coffin, wanting to open the lid instantly. The lid moved slightly and returned to normal. "Let's do it together." Bai Lang came over to help. The 2 third-step experts opened the lid of the stone coffin and dropped it heavily on the ground. This was not the first time they had dug up a person's grave. Every grave left behind by a powerhouse would contain good things. Furthermore, the stone coffin in front of them was full of mystery. It was definitely a top-notch powerhouse when he was alive, and the weakest one was a fourth-step existence. That was an existence that they had to look up to. After the door of the stone coffin opened, Lin Fei was the first to see what was inside. Is this the great Tao origin heart? The stone coffin did not contain the corpse that he had imagined. Instead, there was a ball of soft light floating in the stone coffin, and there was a skeleton at the bottom of the stone coffin. Lin Fei had never seen the great path, primordial heart, before. However, from the moment he saw it, he knew that it was extraordinary. Does the life force in the stone coffin come from the great path, primordial heart? Yes, this great Tao origin heart does have life force, but it is very weak. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes. He did not believe that a great Tao origin heart would have life force. So the other explanation was that the owner of the skeleton had not died. Resurrection. A shocking thought appeared in Lin Fei's mind. That's right. The person who set this up must be one of the top-notch powerhouses who were heavily injured when the wasteland continent was destroyed. Lin Fei's thoughts spun quickly, and he instantly understood many things. This was a trap. Bai Lang extended his hand, and energy surged out. The great Tao origin heart was also drawn out, appearing in front of everyone. It was a ball of blue existence. Great Tao origin heart. A perfectly preserved great Tao origin heart. The owner of this great Tao origin heart must have been a powerful existence in the past. He must have been a fourth-step powerhouse or above. Only they had the strength to preserve a complete great Tao origin heart. Sacred Lord Blood Prison also revealed an infatuated look. This is perfect. We finally have a chance to break through to the fourth step and look down on the entire sacred world. Bai Lang said excitedly, "The fourth step. How many years has it been? If the complete wasteland continent still existed, it would not be difficult for us to break through to the fourth step. Right now, we really need to refine the great Tao origin heart of others. After all, the great Tao origin heart can only be condensed successfully at the fourth step." Wan Taijun sighed. After everyone sighed, Luo Xing reached out and grabbed the great Tao origin heart, preparing to divide it among the five of them. Under such circumstances, no one dared to take it all. Once they did, they would be attacked by the other four, and they would definitely lose. There was no room for discussion. Chapter 23. The change was too fast. The blue great Tao primordial heart invaded Luo Xing's body. A blue light wrapped around Luo Xing, and he kept screaming, "Oh no, this place is dangerous. Let's go." Holy Lord Blood Prison reacted quickly and didn't have the mood to help Luo Xing. He realized that this seemed to be a trap for them. Luo Xing's body was wrapped in blue light, and he kept screaming, "Brother Blood, you can't leave. Save me." The blue light plundered Luo Xing's body at a speed visible to the naked eye. It devoured Luo Xing's vitality and blood essence. In just a moment, Luo Xing was like a shriveled corpse without any vitality. The blue light exploded, and Luo Xing, a third-step expert, died instantly in front of the others. It wasn't that they hadn't seen powerhouses before, but they had never experienced such a terrifying scene before. Luo Xing was a third-step expert, but he had been killed in less than a moment, and everything on him had been plundered by the great Tao primordial heart. This was simply unimaginable. Oh no, it's coming. Everyone attack together. After the blue great Tao primordial heart plundered everything on Luo Xing, it didn't stop and flew toward them. Holy Lord Blood Prison and the others realized that they wouldn't have a good ending if they were entangled by the great Tao primordial heart. Everyone took out the treasures in their hands, and four terrifying forces crushed toward the great Tao primordial heart. In their opinion, no matter how strong the opponent was, he might not be able to withstand their joint attack. It's too late. On the other side, Lin Fei shook his head. Through the system, He could clearly see that the blue great Tao primordial heart's vitality was growing. In other words, its strength was increasing. If they had attacked ruthlessly at the beginning, they might have had a chance. Sure enough, as Lin Fei had guessed, when their attacks were about to land on the great Tao primordial heart, the resplendent blue light formed a barrier and easily blocked their attacks. Hua! 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 The great Tao primordial heart erupted with resplendent blue light, and the entire stone room was filled with blue light. Holy Lord Blood Prison and the others realized that under the influence of the blue light, their movements were getting slower and slower. It was as if they were being suppressed by an endless mountain. No matter how much energy erupted in their bodies, they couldn't break free from the blue light suppression. For third-step experts like them, this was simply unbelievable. They were third-step experts, and only fourth-step experts could suppress them. However, the Great Path Primordial Heart in front of them could actually unleash a fourth-step attack. After a short moment of shock, they didn't dare to hold back anymore. Sacred Lord Blood Prison burned the power of the Great Tao, and his vast energy tore open the seal of the blue light. He didn't care about the other three and flew out of the stone door. Blood Prison Holy Lord was the first, followed by Yan Zixing and Bai Lang. All of them left the stone room with injuries. The power that erupted from them was completely at the fourth step of the Great Tao. Wan Taijun, the Holy Lord, moved the slowest. Endless blue light pressed down, and with a crack, both of his legs broke. The Great Tao Origin Heart tore through Wan Taijun's defenses and entered his body. A moment later, Wan Taijun exploded, and the Great Tao Origin Heart flew out and floated in midair. Third-step experts are really not easy to deal with. They all have trump cards, and they can actually unleash a fourth-step attack and tear open the seal of the Great Tao Origin Heart. Amazing! Lin Fei was very impressed. What kind of trump card is this? It's just a method of self-harm. If they can get out alive, they will need at least a decade or even longer to recover their strength. Little Fiend didn't think much of it. A decade or more? Lin Fei smiled. Then they are really miserable. They finally expanded their influence with great difficulty, but they have to go into seclusion to heal their injuries. Sacred Lord Blood Prison and the others left the cave abode, but Lin Fei didn't pay attention to them. Instead, he focused on the Great Tao Origin Heart. Can you analyze the current strength of the Great Tao Origin Heart? I'll try, but I can't guarantee it. It doesn't matter. The Great Path Primordial Heart floated in the air. After a long time, the blue light in the stone room returned to the Great Path Primordial Heart. The Great Path Primordial Heart returned to the stone coffin and landed on the skeleton. Strands of blue energy attached to the skeleton, and soon tiny blood vessels appeared. Good heavens! Is it going to be resurrected? Lin Fei stared at the skeleton. No matter how he looked at it, the possibility was very high. The Great Tao Origin Heart had plundered the life essence of 2 third-step experts, so it was very rich. If it was used, the effect would definitely not be bad. Master, I have good news. Little Fiend quickly came to a conclusion. According to the data analysis, the Great Tao Origin Heart's quality is very high. It just plundered Luo Xing and Wan Tiejuan's life essence because of the array restriction here, which caused a chain reaction. Its real combat power is not very strong. As for the blue light, it is a kind of Great Tao power. It is similar to gravity, but it is heavier than gravity. Its grade is higher than their Great Tao, so it can easily suppress them and make them unable to resist. Lin Fei frowned slightly. Get to the point. According to the analysis, just now, the Great Tao Origin Heart has life force. It plundered all the life force in preparation for resurrection. According to normal development, the life force of the Great Tao Origin Heart will be absorbed by the skeleton. When all the life force is absorbed, the owner of the skeleton may be resurrected. To Master, this is a good opportunity. If it was before, I would not recommend Master to make a move. However, Master has absorbed the energy of the Yan Huang statue and has the ability to fight. With my help, you should be able to suppress the other party. Little Fiend said excitedly. This is a rare opportunity. After subduing it, Master will have a fourth-step expert by his side. Lin Fei was indeed tempted by what she said. Although he now controlled the power of a fourth-step expert, the number of times he could use it was limited. Unless it was a critical moment, he would definitely not dare to use it. With a fourth-step expert by his side, it would be different. That was a gold standard fighter. What are my chances of success? Lin Fei suppressed the excitement in his heart. About 50-50, Little Fiend said. In order to increase our chances of success, Master should first completely understand the restrictions of the other party's spirit design. As long as we destroy the spirit design restrictions, Master will attack ferociously and not give him a chance to retaliate. There should be a 60% chance of success. 60%. Very high. Then immediately start studying how to destroy the spirit design restrictions. Lin Fei did not intend to go over now. According to what Little Fiend had said, the other party would definitely not be able to recover his flesh and blood body in a short period of time. There was no point in going now. Instead, it would alert the other party. As long as Little Fiend continued to monitor the situation, it would be fine. Holy Master Blood Prison, and the rest should be frightened. Why don't I find them and have some fun? Chapter 23-24. The change in the stone room caused Sacred Lord Blood Prison, Sacred Lord Yan Zixing, and Sacred Lord Bai Lang to run out of the cave. Their faces were abnormally pale. They took out pills and swallowed them after running out of the cave, but they didn't stop moving. They almost ran into spatial cracks several times, and they were like startled birds. They didn't catch up. We're safe now, right? Too scary. The three gathered together again after confirming that they didn't catch up. Their faces were pale, and they still had lingering fear from what had happened. Ever since they reached the third step, there wasn't anything that could scare them. Brother Luo and Brother Wan, Sacred Lord Blood Prison, felt lucky. At the start, he was the first to collect the great Tao origin heart. If he could comprehend something from it, he would have gained a lot. I didn't think that we, third step experts, would fail miserably and almost die in the stone room. Yan Zixing also had lingering fear. He originally thought that it was a fortuitous encounter, but it turned out to be a trap that took their lives. If it was any other time, they would at most send a clone, but this matter was too important. In the ethereal flame mystic realm, the battle power of a clone wasn't enough, so they had to come with their true bodies. No one expected that they would almost die because their true bodies came. Bai Lang's face was pale and his pupils constricted. That stone room should have been set up by an expert. The great Tao origin heart stole the essence blood of Brother Luo and Brother Wan. The owner of the great Tao origin heart will probably use this power to revive. Revive. The meaning of these two words was so great that it had a huge impact on them. Could it be that the prophecy from back then is going to come true? Sacred Lord Blood Prison's body trembled slightly, and he could no longer maintain his calm. Revive, a true revival. Even if they didn't have the ability to do so, their expressions became solemn when they thought about what had happened. What should we do? Yan Zixing seemed to have lost all his energy and was extremely powerless. They really couldn't think of a solution. Luo Xing and Wan Taijun couldn't even block one move from the great Tao origin heart. They couldn't do anything even if they went up. Let's wait and see. Sacred Lord Blood Prison said in a deep voice. If the prophecy from back then is true, maybe we don't need to worry. Even if the sky collapses, someone will come out. The three of them more or less knew about the prophecy that had been passed down in the past. If it was true, the future sacred world would definitely. The three of you seem to be in a good mood. Who are they planning to ambush? An untimely voice suddenly exploded in their ears, interrupting their thoughts. "It's you." Sacred Lord Blood Prison was stunned. He didn't even sense the other party's appearance, and he started to feel wary. Yen Zixing and Bai Lang were the same. In front of them was the great Tao primordial heart's attack, and behind them was the mysterious Alliance Master. Their hearts sank. "That's right, it is me," Lin Fei said with a smile. "I just happened to pass by here and saw the three of you together. I mistakenly thought that you wanted to deal with me, so I specially came to investigate. I hope the three of you can give me a good explanation." Boom! An invisible cold-killing intent came crushing over. This killing intent was formed from origin energy, and it instantly reached the third step. The strong killing intent swept over. Sacred Lord Blood Prison and company were already heavily injured, but when this killing intent swept over them, their blood started to boil, and their faces instantly became pale. "Oh, so you're injured." Lin Fei's words once again attacked the three third-step experts. Normally, they wouldn't be afraid of this killing intent, but today was different. All of them were heavily injured, and it was extremely tiring for them to block it. Sacred Lord Blood Prison and company knew that things weren't going well. They didn't expect this mysterious Alliance Master to show them his strength right from the start and see through them. This was under the situation where they hadn't even fought yet. They really didn't want this mysterious Alliance Master to see through them. They didn't even have half of their peak battle power when facing someone they didn't know anything about. If they really fought, it would be very disadvantageous for them. "Alliance Master, what do you want to do?" Sacred Lord Blood Prison said coldly. "Don't think that you can defeat us just because we're injured. Don't forget that even a rabbit will bite when it's cornered." "AI, actually, this seat isn't unreasonable," Lin Fei said faintly. "I heard that you guys obtained a lot of treasures in the stone room. This seat doesn't want much. I just want 2/3 of what you have, and this seat will leave immediately. What do you think?" The hearts of the three sacred lords sank. The Alliance Master had indeed followed them and seen what had happened in the stone room. Now they were unable to remain calm. To be able to hide this from them, it was extremely likely that this person was a fourth-step expert. A fourth-step expert. This was the first time they had been threatened by someone. Their first thought was that they were unwilling. It wasn't easy for them to take out those time crystals. They had almost died there. Asking them to hand over 2/3 of the time crystals was like cutting a piece of meat from their hearts. This seat's patience has a limit. The three sacred lords felt extremely conflicted. Right now, they really might not be this mysterious Alliance Master's match. "Revenge Alliance Master, you win." The higher one's cultivation was, the more they learned to be patient and compromise. The mysterious Alliance Master in front of them had never revealed himself, and if they really fought, it would be very disadvantageous for them. If they couldn't make him stay, he would just need to leak the news that they were heavily injured, which would be very disadvantageous to the small sacred world that they controlled. Although the 5 top factions had always stood strong, it was because they were the 5 sacred lords. They had always been united against outsiders, but any faction that tried to catch up to them would be suppressed by them in the dark. In the entire sacred world, the 5 top factions had always maintained their position at the top, and no one had ever been able to compare to them. If the news that they were injured spread out, regardless of whether it was true or not, they would definitely come to test them. They didn't dare to really make a move and could only choose to compromise. Lin Fei was indeed interested in the time crystal. Now that someone had given it to him for free, it couldn't be any better. Even if they were resentful now, they didn't dare to do anything because he had the other party's weakness. Don't think that the sacred world was calm and peaceful. In fact, there were undercurrents surging in secret. From the ranking of the small sacred worlds, one could see some clues. The top 10 of the small sacred worlds were all very powerful, and they were infinitely close to the top factions. If the 5 top factions hadn't joined forces to prevent them from rising, the top 5 small sacred worlds would probably have changed their positions. Lin Fei had predicted that they would agree. Compromise was the best choice. Chapter 23-25. Lin Fei was in a good mood after obtaining the time crystal. Everyone would be shocked if they knew that he could make a third-step expert hand over the time crystal. The 3 of you, don't be in such a hurry to leave. Lin Fei's voice sounded again after Sacred Lord Blood Prison left. What? Are you regretting it? Sacred Lord Blood Prison stared at the sky. Yan Zixing and Bai Lang were also prepared to attack with angry expressions. It wasn't that they were afraid of the other party, but they wouldn't attack unless it was absolutely necessary. If they attacked, they would suffer a great loss since it would affect the small, sacred world they controlled. I will keep my word. I will definitely not attack you after taking your things. Lin Fei didn't want to make a move either. Only a fool would waste the origin energy that he had obtained with great difficulty. It's just that I'm quite interested in the prophecy you spoke of. I wonder if you can tell me about it? The expressions of Sacred Lord Blood Prison and the other 2 changed slightly, and they let out sighs of relief. They then looked at the sky with a strange expression. The prophecy wasn't a secret to the people at the top. This mysterious alliance master actually didn't know about the prophecy. The foreign races. The word adventure immediately appeared in the minds of the 3. The prophecy of the wild continent was left behind by an extremely powerful person when the wild continent was destroyed. Basically, all the top figures in the sacred world knew about it, but whether they believed it or not was another matter. However, the foreign races were different. The barbarian continent was the largest world in the past, and its influence was also the greatest. In this region, there was more than one barbarian continent. There were many other worlds of various sizes, but none of them could compare to the barbarian continent. In the eyes of the people of the barbarian continent, they were just a bunch of outsiders. This was why Sacred Lord Blood Prison and the others said the words foreign races, because the foreign races didn't know about this secret. When the war broke out back then, the foreign races suffered heavy losses. All of them hid in independent spaces and sealed themselves for tens of thousands of years. Of course, some people didn't know about the prophecy left behind. Luckily, the 3 of them didn't say it out loud, but they were even more wary. When did such a mysterious expert appear in the alien world? They didn't even know about it. Among the alien experts, Black was one of the best in the world of assassins. This prophecy is just a joke, Sacred Lord Blood Prison said casually. At the start, this was indeed a joke. However, the person who made the prophecy was a peak expert who had appeared after the wild continent had shattered and was skilled in divination. After that divination, that expert had fallen. No one knew why he had done that or why he had fallen. It had been a very long time since then. Everyone believed it to be true. As time passed, generation after generation, the prophecy became an impossible joke. Sacred Lord Blood Prison and the others happened to be in the prophecy period, so they instinctively resisted it and didn't take it too seriously. If they had such thoughts, they might as well worry about the mysterious force appearing. What a joke! I also find it quite interesting. Sacred Lord Blood Prison told Lin Fei about the prophecy. Lin Fei thought about it and let them go. He didn't do anything from start to finish. An expert will descend upon the world and rebuild the wasteland continent. After they left, Lin Fei was also stunned by the prophecy. No wonder there was a strong consciousness when I obtained the treasure. For example, the Yellow Springs Patriarch and the Blood Demon King should be able to revive. Lin Fei immediately thought about the strong consciousness that appeared when he obtained the Blood Sky Seal. According to what they said, those experts will reappear in another 500 years, and the wasteland continent will reappear as well. Lin Fei couldn't believe it, no matter how he thought about it. Master, don't worry. If you want to know the specifics of the prophecy, that person might give Master a satisfactory answer, Little Evil Demon reminded. Lin Fei thought about it and realized that it was true. He didn't know much about that era. If he could control that person now, Wouldn't he be able to know whatever he wanted? I need to make some preparations. Eerie Flame's Secret Realm. In the blink of an eye, 1 month passed. During this time, countless people died in the Eerie Flame's Secret Realm. But there are also countless people who obtained fortuitous encounters. Not bad, young master. In such a short period of time, your strength has broken through again, and you have reached the late stage of the giant realm. In a small valley, a young man walked out with a majestic gait. An old man next to him came up and greeted him. Yen Hu was very satisfied with his advancement to the late stage of the giant realm. Although it seemed like a small step, it was actually a huge step. His strength had increased by a few times, and he had even obtained a good treasure. Advisorly, has Di Tian been killed? Young Master Yen, who was very concerned about this matter. It was like a thorn in his heart. Those who didn't work for him deserved to die. Advisor Li was an old man. His cultivation level wasn't high, barely at the early stage of the giant realm. However, no one dared to underestimate this old man in gray robes. He could kill you with a flip of his hand. Yen, who had paid a huge price to invite him back. It was because of Advisor Li's help that Yen Hua and Yen Zi were on the same level. Young Master, the mission has failed. Yu Ming Zi and the rest must have been killed. Failed? Young Master Yen, who was very surprised. I didn't expect Di Tian to be so capable. Advisorly, you don't have to worry about him. After all, he is not easy to deal with. Thank you for your forgiveness, young master. Advisor Li was also very curious. There shouldn't have been any problems with his calculations. The only thing he could be sure of was that everyone had a different understanding of Di Tian. Next time, Di Tian won't have such a good chance. Yen, who was not happy that Di Tian was still alive. Sooner or later, he would have time to deal with that brat. Let's go somewhere else. How is my second sister doing? Lin Fei waited in the ethereal flame, mystery realm, for a month. Everything in the stone room was under surveillance. The skeleton was covered in blood vessels, and it was in the process of reconstructing its flesh. According to Little Evil Demon's analysis, it would take at least a few years for it to reconstruct its flesh. This result made Lin Fei very unhappy. He had no choice but to leave the ethereal flame mystery realm. From Lin Fei's point of view, the only thing that caught his eye in the ethereal flame mystery realm was the skeleton in the stone room and the great Tao primordial heart. He didn't care about anything else. The ethereal flame mystery realm was just a scheme used by the 5 holy masters to open the stone door. Lin Fei returned to the sealed world immediately to prepare for the next important matter. Chapter 23-26. The illusory flame, mystic realm, had always been lively. From time to time, there would be heart-stirring good news. For example, someone had obtained a special gem, or an expert had obtained a precious treasure. However, he had also started a massacre and offended several forces. Aside from these news, the direct descendants of the 5 organizations performed extremely well. For example, Yen Hu of the Yen family had successfully become a late Titan expert, suppressing a first step expert and shaking up the Saints' world. He was known as a super genius of the Saints' world. A few days later, the young lady, Yen Zi, was unwilling to fall behind. She also successfully broke through to late Titan expert, displaying her extraordinary talent. The direct descendants of the Yen family were like that, and the direct descendants of the other peak organizations also performed dazzlingly. They quickly became the cream of the crop among the younger generation, and their names spread across the entire Saints' world. I don't believe I can't get in this time. Lin Fei was not interested in the various news about the Void Fire secret realm. Super genius? Lin Fei sniggered after hearing that. Don't offend me when the time comes, or I'll kill you all the same, no matter how much of a super genius you are. Open. In the central region of the World Wall battlefield. In order to enter the central region, Lin Fei had tried countless times. He was just a little bit off every time. This time, Lin Fei was confident that he could get in. A huge blood word turned into an invisible force, blocking the incoming force. The pressure on Lin Fei immediately decreased, and he moved forward quickly. This was not the first time Lin Fei had come here, so he was very familiar with this distance. At the same time, the little demon had calculated the exact steps. As long as the pressure from the central region was suppressed, it would be much easier with the body of 10,000 curses and invincible defense. Everything went as planned. Lin Fei only used the word blood to successfully pass through the most important region. He was extremely close to the central region. When Lin Fei approached the central region, a terrifying pressure surged over like a boundless ocean. Before he even got close, Lin Fei seemed to lose control of his body, and the presence of death emanated from the bottom of his heart. Spatial transfer. Lin Fei bellowed. He used the origin energy he had collected and unleashed a powerful attack. In the air, a gigantic door opened, blocking Lin Fei's path. Boundless energy surged into the door, but not a single bit landed on Lin Fei's body. Even so, Lin Fei could still feel the aura of death, how close it was to him. Success! In a dozen or so seconds, the violent power vanished. Lin Fei's lips curled into a smile, knowing that he had succeeded. Using a simple spatial transfer actually costs so much. It's almost the full power of a third-step expert. Lin Fei felt a pang in his heart. For the sake of the massive skeleton in the central region, this price was nothing. After dispelling spatial teleportation, Lin Fei successfully arrived at the central region. Body of 10,000 curses and invincible defense activated at the same time, blocking most of the attacks. This was the first time Lin Fei had entered the central region. Is this the corpse of a divine dragon? Standing in the air, Zhang Xian could see numerous skeletons in the central region. Each of the skeletons emanated boundless pressure. Fortunately, they were limited to one another, so the area of influence was very small. Master, this giant dragon should have been a fourth-step expert when it was alive. Someone punched it in the head and killed it instantly. Little Devil analyzed and pointed at the dragon's head. There was a huge dent on the dragon's skull, which looked very glaring. How savage! To be able to kill a fourth-step realm giant dragon with one punch, he must be at least a fifth-step expert. The defense of a giant dragon in its original form is widely acknowledged. Lin Fei took a deep breath. It was the right decision to come here. Apart from the central region of the boundary wall battlefield, the rest of the battlefield was under Lin Fei's control. The specters that appeared from time to time became insignificant. The central region had always been a place that Lin Fei attached great importance to. Let's not talk about anything else. Just this giant dragon skeleton alone can make a third-step expert, at the very least. Although I can't use any cultivation techniques, I can rely on this indestructible skeleton to become a top-notch fighter. After learning about the prophecy left behind by a certain expert from the Blood Prison, Holy Lord, and the others, Lin Fei began to attach importance to it. Regardless of whether it really appeared or not, he had to take advantage of this opportunity to strengthen himself first. Let's collect it first. Little Devil was constantly monitoring the movements in the central region. Lin Fei was not afraid that someone would sneak in and attack him. Lin Fei was not anxious at all to collect a giant dragon skeleton. Collecting a giant dragon skeleton wasn't difficult. Lin Fei easily blocked the pressure emitted by the skeleton. After consuming some Heaven's Mandate energy, he successfully collected the first giant dragon skeleton. The central region wasn't small, so Lin Fei didn't dare to be careless. If he was attacked by the skeleton, it wouldn't be a good thing. After collecting the first giant dragon skeleton, Lin Fei searched again. He didn't want to miss any powerful skeleton. After all, if he missed this opportunity, there wouldn't be another one. It can't be, it's so far away, and there's only one giant dragon skeleton just now. Lin Fei flew carefully. The number of skeletons on the ground could be counted on one's fingers. He found some along the way, but they were all ruined and obviously useless. He could completely imagine that the people who fought in that war were all very cruel and violent. It was almost a one-sided suppression. Only those peerless experts could do such a thing. Along the way, the skeletons on the ground piled up like a mountain. It wasn't hard to imagine the intensity of the war back then. It was absolutely unimaginable. As he continued forward, the number of skeletons on the ground increased. They began to pile up until they reached the depths. A cold aura constantly shrouded the central region. Lin Fei didn't expect that there would be a mountain of bones in the central region. How many skeletons were needed to pile up like this? Lin Fei's scalp went numb just thinking about it. Master, be careful. This place is a little strange. Although there's no aura of life, it gives off an unusual feeling. Lin Fei secretly raised his guard. He simply used his divine sense to cover the distance, to confuse the mysterious existence of the White Bone Mountain. No one would know that he was relying on the system. As long as there was any movement, he would immediately be able to detect it. There were many mountains of bones, one after another. Each one was covered with skeletons. Lin Fei didn't find anything for the time being. He couldn't help but feel a trace of doubt in his heart. That's not right. I heard those people say that very few people come to this place. The skeletons of those fallen experts shouldn't be missing. As soon as Lin Fei entered the central region, he had Little Fiend shrink the location of those skeletons. Every powerful skeleton would instinctively release a pressure. Through this, he could find them. But until now, those skeletons seemed to have disappeared. This gave Lin Fei a strange feeling. Ha ha ha, it's not easy. Another junior has come. Crash. Chapter 23-27. Master, this is a mental attack. It's an attack from a third-step expert. Lin Fei seemed to have lost control of his body. The opponent's attack was too terrifying, and he had no chance to defend himself. His head felt like it was going to explode. Bang! Lin Fei smashed into a white bone mountain, and the entire White Bone Mountain collapsed with a loud bang, turning into ruins. This kid is a little strange. He's only at the giant realm, but he can actually barge in. No matter how you defend yourself, in the end, you'll still fall into my hands. A sinister laugh came from a mountain of bones. Shortly after, the mountain moved, and a white skeleton walked out. 2 soul fires floated in its empty eyes. Its figure flashed, and it arrived above the ruins of bones, looking for the kid's body. Found it! In the white bone ruins, the boy's physical body appeared in front of the skeletons. There was a hint of joy in his voice. I've waited for so long, and I can finally possess a body and leave this damned place. Ha ha ha! The skeleton man arrived above the body. He was very confident in his previous attack, especially in a situation where there was no warning. Even if there were 100 of him, he would be finished. Possess! The 2 soul fires in the skeleton man's eyes left the skeleton and turned into one, heading straight for the body above the ruins. As long as he possessed the body, he could leave this place. You've been tricked! Just as he was about to possess the body, a terrifying killing intent attacked him. A word appeared in the sky and crushed the soul fire. The soul fire let out a painful cry, and a third of the originally large soul fire dissipated. Brat, how dare you trick me? The soul fire roared, and he once again used mental rush. This was his killing move, and ordinary people couldn't block it. Mental Pierce was also a special Great Dao. Its grade wasn't very high, but it was very powerful. It was hard to defend against, and if one wasn't careful, one would fall into the opponent's trap. Against this kind of mental pierce, there was basically no treasure that could block it, unless it was a special mental treasure. Unfortunately, this time the opponent had encountered Lin Fei, a fellow that couldn't be judged by his eyes. Another bloody word blasted out. That ball of soul fire was startled. The first attack was because it had been caught off guard. However, the second attack was at the second step, so it was more or less startling. Empty net! The soul fire did not evade. Instead, it activated its mental energy once again and bound the power of the bloody words, preventing them from erupting. Brat, I have to admit that you are very powerful. I like such a body very much. When the time comes, everything you have will belong to me. Ha ha ha. The spiritual force pierced into the space between Lin Fei's eyebrows once again. After using his spiritual force 3 times in a row, his soul flame had clearly become much dimmer than before. This time he attacked out of rage. He believed that this body wouldn't be able to withstand his spiritual force piercing. Now was the best time to possess a body. This was also the preconceived idea of any expert, especially when facing a little guy in the giant realm. When the soul fire tried to possess him again, a terrifying aura burst forth from his body. His aura immediately soared to the 4th step. Ah! The soul fire exploded on the spot. The power dispersed the soul fire like a gale, and miserable cries echoed continuously. The attack of a guy at the 3rd step is really ferocious. Fortunately, I used the destiny energy to construct a blockade. Otherwise, I would have failed miserably today. Lin Fei crawled out of the ruins, his face slightly pale. Little devil, where did that guy go? He had been ambushed and almost died. Lin Fei was very angry. His opponent had made him lose 2 bloody words, and he had also been attacked by a 4th step expert. Under such circumstances, a 3rd step attack couldn't hurt him at all. The materialization of his mental energy was very terrifying. Little Devil was also very angry. Don't worry, Master. This time he has nowhere to hide. He has no chance. There won't be a second chance. Lin Fei and Little Devil were very angry. There was no aura of life in this place, so they subconsciously thought that there wouldn't be any living people. They didn't expect that there would be someone proficient in mental energy. It could be considered a kind of extension of life. Zhou couldn't wait any longer, and Lin Fei was hit. Master, he is on your left, on the 7th skeleton. Lin Fei was very shocked when he received this information from Little Devil. There was a scattered skeleton there, and it was not very complete. It was hard to suspect that the other party was attached to it. Chase! Lin Fei pretended to chase forward. He didn't look at the skeleton at all, and his actions made it seem like he was going to chase. He knew that this powerful concealment ability was the other party's greatest trump card. According to Little Devil's analysis, the other party's soul fire was different from the physical body. Any damage would take a long time to recover. If he couldn't kill him in one attack, it would be troublesome to find him later. Lin Fei planned to make a feint. Brat, you are still too inexperienced. I lost my physical body and preserved my mental energy, which is the perfect counter to mental energy. Don't even think about finding me. The other party was clenching his teeth in anger at this brat. A little brat had actually caused him to suffer such a huge setback. His vitality was greatly injured, and if he wanted to recover, he would need at least a few hundred years. This setback was a bit too big. After seeing the other party leave, the other party secretly heaved a sigh of relief. As long as he hadn't been discovered, he had ways to deal with this brat. Found you! A thunderclap sounded in the clear sky and exploded beside the skeleton. Lin Fei returned again and punched the skeleton. This was the most basic attack, but it couldn't withstand the explosive power of the 4th step. In the face of this power, even the most ordinary move could erupt with a fierce power that could destroy heaven and earth. How did he find me? The other party's mind went blank. He hadn't expected that he would be exposed. I've been exposed. In the next second, a terrifying power crushed the body of the soul fire. The soul fire, which had consumed a lot of energy, was now on the verge of collapse. It seemed like any random attack would completely disintegrate it. To put it bluntly, it was like the clouds in the sky had scattered. The attack of Lin Fei's punch caused the soul fire to howl. It was a tragic sight. Continue to hide. Lin Fei made a grabbing motion with his hand, and an invisible force enveloped the tottering soul fire. When he released his origin energy, the soul fire began to evaporate. A ferocious face appeared on the soul fire and roared at Lin Fei. Brat, stop. I told you to stop. Lin Fei was unmoved. Ha ha. Ah, stop. You bastard. If you continue, I'm done for. The soul fire kept struggling and gradually became transparent. Chapter 23-28. The soul fire started to turn dim, and it was about to become transparent, which scared the other half to death. Brat, stop! The man's face showed a trace of despair, and at the same time he became extremely violent. Do you know what you are doing? You are offending a great super expert. If the expert is angry, he will make your whole family bleed, and you will never be able to reincarnate. Lin Fei's face sank slightly. Humph, you are about to die, and you still dare to talk nonsense. You don't know what's good for you. As he increased the power output, the soul fire started to shake violently, and its color started to become transparent. It screamed, I am a super expert, and you still dare to. Ah, it hurts. Stop, stop. Lin Fei clearly realized that this guy should be a wily old fox. To deal with such a person, he should be heavy-handed, and he had to make the other party remember. The torture continued. The soul fire became smaller and smaller, and its color became translucent. The other party's screams gradually became weak. Under such torture, it would be strange if the other party could still hold on. Is this the attitude you use to beg? Lin Fei said coldly. He felt that it was about time. Lin Fei said, the soul fire didn't expect that the other party wasn't afraid of its threat at all. It was obvious that the other party wanted to kill it. It was a top expert, and even if time passed, it was still a super expert. Today, it actually failed because of a brat. It was completely unimaginable. Until the other party spoke, it had a glimmer of hope, and a thought appeared in its mind. Maybe I don't have to die. Little brother, if you have something to say, we can talk it out. Can you stop first? Waiting for the other party's power to increase, and the pain was like hovering between life and death. If it was a physical body, it would be fine, but now that it was a pure spiritual body, the torture it enjoyed would increase, and its sensitivity would increase infinitely. The pain would also become extremely terrifying. Senior, uncle, I was wrong. I shouldn't have sneak attacked you, and I shouldn't have threatened you. I beg you, please stop. Finally, the person chose to lower his head. At this point, it didn't matter what he could or couldn't say. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before he would completely disappear and lose all of his past glory. And here I thought you would continue being arrogant. Didn't you just say you wanted to wipe out my entire sect? If you have the guts, then continue. Lin Fei said coolly. Wasn't that just a misunderstanding? Little brother is so young, so you must have come from a powerful family. How could I threaten you? You also know that once a person loses his temper, he won't speak properly. That person gasped for breath. Lin Fei did not dare to underestimate such a person. This guy was able to leave behind a complete spirit body, so he was at least a fourth-step expert. Lin Fei wouldn't give up so easily. Little devil, how's the analysis going? It's best to immediately think of a way to control him. Lin Fei really couldn't bear to let this living map exist. Soon. Lin Fei was relieved. Misunderstanding? You really know how to talk. If my father hadn't given me a few treasures, maybe I would have fallen into your trap. How do you think you should compensate me for my loss? Lin Fei said fiercely. If you can't tell me, then don't even think about living. These words undoubtedly made the other party happy. This kid doesn't seem to have seen through this daddy's background. He should be a newbie, but the family behind him isn't small. It's really my bad luck to have such a treasure to protect me. However, being a thief seems to be an opportunity. Qi Lin was his name. Now that this name was mentioned, only a few people knew about it. But in the past, kid, you're torturing me like this. Just wait for your bad luck. Although he couldn't successfully possess this body, and the consumption was too great, Qi Lin didn't mind killing this kid. This place wasn't easy to come to, even if the other party had a powerful family behind him. Once he reached that place, Qi Lin's heart flashed with a trace of a smile. Little brother, as long as you let me go, I can take you to my old nest. There are all kinds of treasures collected in my old nest. Little brother, if you like something, just take it. Lin Fei didn't believe that the other party would be so kind. The little devil also followed up. Master, this guy's mood is fluctuating. He must have thought of a bad idea and wants Master to walk into a trap. However, he won't have the chance. Master, you might as well follow him and take a look. Perhaps there will be some good harvest. Lin Fei indeed had this idea. Previously, he was still wondering why there was nothing in the central area except some corpses. Perhaps everything was done by this guy. Old nest, you're very smart. Lin Fei laughed. This young master is happy and will naturally let you go. If you have any other ideas, this young master doesn't mind pinching you to death on the spot. You better not play any tricks. Little brother, my vitality is greatly injured now. My life and death are not in your hands. Even if you give me 100 guts, I still wouldn't dare. Lead the way. Lin Fei grabbed the soul fire. At the same time, he secretly used his own energy to seal the surroundings. All of this was completed in an instant. Qi Lin didn't even notice that there was a seal outside. Qi Lin didn't know about this. He was very confident in that place. No matter who entered, if they didn't have him to lead the way, they would inevitably die. Relying on his familiarity with that place, he believed that he could regain his freedom once more. At the same time, he could also watch those unlucky fellows die. If their corpses were preserved well, he could still walk around with his flesh and blood. Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry. He constantly learned about the central area from the other party. In order to make the other party believe in him, Qi Lin mixed truth and lies together. Most of them were true. In any case, he didn't believe that the other party could escape his calculations. The range of the White Bones Mountain was very large. According to the other party, this place had been condensed by someone in the past. And in the depths of the White Bones Mountain, there was a graveyard that those powerhouses had opened for those corpses. Those corpses that could be found in this graveyard were all people with great backgrounds. After hearing this, Lin Fei was greatly shocked. There was actually a powerhouse who had opened a graveyard. Lin Fei firmly believed this. Otherwise, he wouldn't have only collected a single dragon corpse. Lin Fei was more and more glad that he hadn't used his own energy for nothing. Under Qi Lin's intentional flattery, Lin Fei roughly understood the situation. At the same time, he was getting closer and closer to that place. The surrounding White Bones Mountain began to lessen. Brett, it's almost time for you to die. Without that treasure, let's see how you can resist. When Qi Lin saw a place in front of him, he laughed in his heart. That place was a trap left behind during the great battle. Lin Fei had been paying attention to the other party's movements. Although he couldn't see it through the soul fire, don't forget, the powerful ability of the system, as well as Qi Lin's changes, he was the first to know. Master, it's done. I have a way to control this guy. The little devil sent good news. This guy's mood fluctuated greatly just now. He was very excited. Something that could make him so excited must be related to Master. Let me carefully scan him. Maybe I can gain something. Chapter 23-29. I knew this guy wasn't honest. As expected of a guy who could survive all this time, he's full of dirty tricks. Lin Fei sneered in his heart. From the beginning, he didn't believe this guy. Plotting to kill him, dream on. Qi Lin's thoughts were very beautiful. If it wasn't for his quick reaction, the killing move nearby would have been enough to kill him. He remembered this place very clearly. Once this guy got hit, it would definitely be very interesting. Qi Lin thought happily. He didn't think that the opponent could discover the location of the trap. As for being discovered by the opponent before, it was purely a coincidence. Qi Lin kept telling himself that this guy didn't have the ability to see through everything. While the beautiful thoughts were still reverberating in his mind, the intense pain was like lightning. The opponent's voice sounded in his ear. I knew you weren't honest. You wanted to set a trap to kill me. I'll kill you first. Boundless pain engulfed him. Under the torture of being magnified countless times, the color of the soul fire became fainter and fainter. Qi Lin's consciousness also began to fall into endless darkness. Don't kill me, I surrender, I surrender. In the face of death, Qi Lin didn't dare to think about how the opponent could discover that killing trap. Now he only wanted to survive. It was such a simple matter. If you don't want to die, release your spiritual power. The voice came again. Qi Lin's expression changed. No one knew better than him what would happen if he released his spiritual power. Without waiting for him to think, boundless pain continued to spread. Death was infinitely close. Looks like you'd better die. No, I'm willing. Qi Lin shouted. He didn't dare to guarantee that the opponent wouldn't really kill him. He couldn't afford to gamble. Qi Lin released his spiritual power. The opponent's big hand withdrew its power. He seemed to have returned from hell. As soon as he opened his spiritual force, a tyrannical destructive force rushed into his spiritual sea. Before he could defend himself, that destructive force automatically arranged itself into a special mark. With a flash of light, it disappeared from his spiritual sea. However, he could clearly feel that there seemed to be a force controlling him. Qi Lin knew it. He was being controlled by someone. Moreover, it was a very overbearing restriction. Before Qi Lin could curse, pain came from the depths of his spiritual sea. A huge phantom appeared, and it was Lin Fei's appearance. It held a long whip in its hand and lashed out. The long whip struck the spiritual sea, and Qi Lin let out miserable cries, each cry more miserable than the last. More than 100 lashes fell. Qi Lin's soul fire had almost turned into nothingness. There was no doubt that a few more lashes would be enough for him to completely vanish into thin air. Stop hitting me. I'll tell you everything. Stop hitting me. Lin Fei was very clear that to deal with this kind of person, he needed to give them a fatal threat. The long whip and even the phantom that the other party had condensed in his spiritual sea were all the work of the little fiend. Every time he whipped Qi Lin, the little fiend would carry out a perfect calculation. Not too much, not too little, just enough to put Qi Lin on the edge of death. That kind of feeling of death was enough to make a person collapse, let alone once or twice. Qi Lin had experienced several life and death crises. Even if he had a temper, he didn't have one. That was why Qi Lin said those words. He had no choice but to lower his head. The most frightening thing was that the other party had researched the imprint that could control his spiritual power. Even in the past, that was a secret that couldn't be passed down. Now, it had fallen into the hands of this young boy. Don't you think you should say something? Lin Fei released his soul fire, not worried that the other party would escape. He only needed a thought, or even a trace of malice towards him, and the other party wouldn't have a good ending. Moreover, the current Qi Lin simply couldn't withstand any torment. My name is Qi Lin, and I'm now young master's man. I'll do whatever young master tells me to do. I won't dare to play any tricks. Qi Lin transformed into a small person and said respectfully, I don't care whether you're called Qi Lin or not. From now on, you'll have to obediently return it, and I won't treat you unfairly. It all depends on what you do next. Lin Fei didn't care what the other party thought. As long as the other party did his job well, the Central 100 Library's books would be very useful. He didn't deny this point. Young master, There's a killing intent left behind by a sixth-step expert during the Great War. It hasn't dissipated even now. I just wanted to use this killing intent to deal with young master. I hope young master can forgive me. Chi Lin accepted his fate. The other party's imprint was very mysterious, and he couldn't find it in the depths of his spiritual sea. It wasn't any of the restrictions he had seen so far. A sixth-step expert? Isn't it said that the strongest is only at the fifth step? Lin Fei couldn't help but ask. In the entire sacred world, the strongest was only at the third step. As for the fourth step, there were definitely some. As for how many, no one knew. But there wouldn't be many. It could be counted on one hand. Now that there was a sixth-step expert, Lin Fei was truly shocked. Chi Lin coldly snorted. Fifth step? What is that? Before Chi Lin could continue, he felt a whip in the depths of his spiritual sea. Chi Lin realized that he had said something wrong. That it was a slip of the tongue, a slip of the tongue. To deal with a person like Chi Lin, Lin Fei felt that he had to deal with him slowly. After a long time, he would be 100% obedient. It seems that you should be someone who survived the Great War back then. Tell me about it. Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry. This place was really not easy to enter. Now that everyone had gone to the Void Flame secret realm, who would come here? Besides, even if they really came, he wouldn't be worried. Chi Lin seemed to recall something and simply said, "Back then I was actually a fourth-step expert. The story was actually very simple. Back then, there had been a great war in the wild continent. In fact, it had been caused by ninth-step experts trying to break through to the Supreme Realm, which had caused a great war that had affected the entire continent. Chi Lin had been a core member of a sect back then, and he had just entered. He had been sent to the battlefield, and his body had been destroyed in the battle. He had been confined to a small area. The reason was very simple. In those years, there were monstrous killing intents left by experts everywhere. Chi Lin was lucky because he had mastered a special Tao. His body had been destroyed, but a small part of his mental strength had survived. This was also the reason why Chi Lin had wanted to seize Lin Fei's body. In the end, he had suffered a huge setback because of him. From Chi Lin's words, it was far clearer than the records. It was as if this area in front of him was the place where countless experts had fought bloody battles. A great war between ninth-step experts had destroyed a continent. It was indeed more terrifying than imagined. This was the first time Lin Fei had heard of it. It turned out that the highest realm was the ninth step. This was simply unimaginable. Lin Fei now felt that fourth-step experts were infinitely powerful, let alone ninth-step experts. It was no wonder that they had caused such a huge commotion. Chapter 2330. A ninth-step expert. From a distance, Lin Fei really wanted to know what happened after that. Chi Lin shook his head and smiled bitterly. I don't know. It's not easy to take that last step. In other words, the ninth-step expert didn't succeed. In other words, you don't have any experts outside. Lin Fei was prejudiced by his first impression and forgot one thing. They were all trapped here. How could they talk about leaving, let alone knowing the situation outside? Therefore, he briefly told him about the events in the sacred world, including some things about the Judgment Organization. Young Master, those who didn't succeed at the ninth step are not willing to have an invincible existence above their heads. After listening, Chi Lin sighed. I didn't expect the glorious wild continent to become a broken world composed of fragments. If I'm not wrong, the Judgment Organization that young Master mentioned should be the subordinates of a ninth-step expert. That's why they can easily suppress a fifth-step expert. Lin Fei frowned slightly. That's not right. After that war, didn't the ninth-step expert fall? Will the subordinates of those experts still follow them after a long time? At the beginning, Lin Fei really didn't think about the specific origin of the Judgment Organization. After hearing Chi Lin's words, he really thought of some things and quite agreed with Chi Lin's words. Young Master, every expert of the ninth step is a supreme existence. They can almost be said to be immortal. The great battle in the past only caused great damage to their vitality. It won't take their lives, but it will take a long time for them to recover, Qi Lin said. Thinking about it, it made sense. Lin Fei thought it through. It seemed that this was the explanation. Lin Fei talked about the prophecy of a certain expert. Qi Lin's face changed greatly. Are you sure it was left by a certain expert? And then he fell. I can't guarantee this. It's something that has been circulating in the upper echelons of the sacred world. It should be true. Lin Fei hesitated for a moment. He had never seen this kind of thing. He had never heard of it. It's true. It must be true. Qi Lin shouted and was quickly whipped. Young master, you don't know. Back in the day, the Wildland continent's most powerful divination grandmaster was a ninth-step existence. His combat prowess was average, but no one dared to offend him. He was an expert in divination and could distort space and time to see the future. He was extremely terrifying and was known as the #1 divination grandmaster. Lin Fei didn't expect that the expert who made the prediction would have such an amazing ability. Looks like it's true. Coming from such an expert, the possibility of the other party's prophecy was very high. Lin Fei then asked a few more questions, and Qi Lin answered in detail. Little devil, quickly scan this killing intent trap and see if you can remove it. Lin Fei quickly shifted his gaze. It was not easy for him to discover this kind of killing intent trap. If he did not get it out, it would be too much of a pity. Qi Lin did not dare to ask. The other party was young, but he acted decisively. One really could not judge a book by its cover. Who would have thought that the other party would have such means? By the way, let me ask you, how many similar killing intent traps are there in this place? Qi Lin was obviously startled. Not many. As time passes, the power of the killing intent traps will weaken, and in the end, they will be swallowed by the spatial cracks. Come out. Lin Fei had just casually asked. A huge amount of energy came out, and his 5 fingers shrouded down. The surrounding void collapsed, and a terrifying killing intent shot out. Not bad, a 4th-step attack. The killing intent trap was invisible and colorless, but it was very clear in Lin Fei's eyes. He forcefully dug it out from the void, and with a squeeze of his hand, the killing intent trap turned into an energy ball. The energy ball was the size of a fist, but it emitted a terrifying aura. What a terrifying method. He can actually use the killing intent trap for his own use. Qi Lin was shocked. Although it was only a 4th-step attack, in fact, it contained the infinite killing intent left by a powerhouse. It was extraordinary. If anyone underestimated it, they would definitely be unlucky. Even Qi Lin himself did not have the ability to take it away. Qi Lin completely understood that the other party was unlucky to have encountered such a guy. Moreover, the other party was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. He could not understand how a giant realm powerhouse could burst out with such strength. This question really puzzled him. Lin Fei was not putting on a show for Qi Lin. It was not easy to find such a killing intent trap, and its power was extraordinary. According to the little devil's evaluation, this killing intent trap was completely comparable to the attack of a 4th-step powerhouse. The terrifying killing intent contained in it was a bit stronger than the attack of an ordinary 4th-step powerhouse. Continue to lead the way. After taking a powerful killing intent, he more or less made up for some of his losses. After understanding that the judgment organization was made up of 9th-step powerhouses, Lin Fei felt that he had to have more trump cards in his hands. Along the way, Lin Fei took 3 killing intents. 2 of them were only 1st-step attacks, and the other was a 2nd-step attack. In his opinion, mosquito meat was also meat, and he could not let it go. Young master, the entrance is in the White Bones Mountain in front. Qi Lin pointed to a White Bones Mountain not far away. This White Bones Mountain was no different from the ones he had seen before. At least, in Lin Fei's eyes, there was no difference. When they arrived at the White Bones Mountain, Lin Fei realized that it was extraordinary. If it was not for someone leading the way, who would have known that there was another secret hidden in the White Bones Mountain? Young master, go in from this place. Inside is an alternate space created by a 9-step powerhouse. It is very stable. Qi Lin pointed to a location. The little devil's scanning ability fell on this place, and sure enough, it found something special. There was no spatial fluctuation in this place, and even using divine sense was useless. This was a special alternate space. Lin Fei was not in a hurry to go in. Instead, he threw a combat emperor in to understand the situation inside. Everything was, as said, the alternate space was very quiet, and there was no danger. Let's go! Lin Fei brought Qi Lin to the alternate space of the White Bones Mountain. In the alternate space, there was a violent energy impact. Fortunately, this energy seemed to be limited by the power of some powerhouses, and it was limited to a certain area. Lin Fei's current position was considered good, and there was not much danger. This is the Green Bull Demon King of the variant human race. He was an 8-step powerhouse in the past, and he was very powerful. He could face 6 8-step powerhouses of the human race alone. Not far away, there was a huge green bull, which was very eye-catching in Lin Fei's eyes. The corpse of an 8-step powerhouse. I'm going to be rich this time. Lin Fei was very excited. If he only needed to modify it, it would definitely be a nightmare for his enemies. He immediately tried to use the system to collect it. Ding! The power of the item exceeds the collection range. It cannot be collected. Chapter 2331. Can't be collected. Lin Fei was dumbfounded. Isn't the system invincible? Why can't it collect a corpse? Lin Fei was not willing to give up on the perfect corpse of an outsider king. With some modifications, it would become a powerful existence, a trump card for him to move about freely in the Saint's world. Master, this corpse is still intact. It was sealed by a special power. Moreover, I don't know if there's a formation in this strange space that prevents the flow of time. Master, it's impossible for you to collect this corpse now. The imp's words were a huge blow to him. In that case, I can only collect corpses at step 4 or step 5 by relying on the system, right? Yes, if Master can accumulate more energy, it is not impossible to collect it. But at present, I do not approve of Master using this method. Lin Fei wasn't hot-blooded. He had to collect the corpse. Without the origin energy, the consequences would be too severe. He tried several corpses in a row, but the result was the same. Lin Fei completely gave up. Just as the little devil said, the corpses in the different space were all arranged with a very powerful array formation. It was not something that could be broken in a short time. Even if Lin Fei had the system to calculate, it would take a long time and consume a huge amount of origin energy. This kind of high-density calculation and analysis could not be stopped in a short time. There are more than 1,300 experts in this alternate space, and they were all top existences on the wild continent. Don't look down on them just because some of them are at the 8th step. In reality, every one of them is a top expert who is qualified to fight against a 9th step expert. Their Dermic Tao is also top. Lin Fei did not have the ability to collect these corpses. They were all perfectly protected. Young master, my nest is over there. Follow me. Soon, the two of them broke into a restricted area with corpses. Boundless pressure swept over. But Qi Lin easily led Lin Fei away from the pressure and came to a cave under the corpses. Young master, I spent 10,000 years to create this place. No one knows of its existence other than me. Lin Fei could feel a trace of pressure. It was not very obvious, but it could easily conceal his aura. He rejoiced in his heart. If he really hid in a place like this, it would be very troublesome. The cave abode wasn't very big, but Lin Fei was able to notice the differences in the cave abode. Master, these are some of the good things I've collected. On the other side of the cave, Qi Lin said proudly, "From today onwards, all of these belong to this young master." Lin Fei said in an extremely tyrannical manner. He looked at the row of treasures that were laid out in a row. Although these treasures looked tattered, they contained a terrifying might within them. Needless to say, these were treasures that were infamous back in the days. These treasures were not bad, but Lin Fei was not interested in them. With a flash of inspiration, Zhang Xian took out the heavenly blood seal. Ever since he had more experts by his side, he had kept this treasure by his side. Endless Devour! The blood sky seal's quality had long since reached the level of a giant-level treasure, but it was definitely not an easy task to raise it to the next level. Young Master, there seems to be the Yellow Springs cult leader's aura in these treasures. Your eyesight is not bad. There is indeed the Yellow Springs cult leader's aura. Lin Fei said. Qi Lin was surprised. Although the Yellow Springs cult leader was not the strongest existence, he was still an 8th step expert. His temperament was eccentric, and he hovered between the righteous and evil paths. He had never been welcomed by others. Lin Fei activated the heavenly blood seal, and the endless devour began. The pile of treasures was swallowed by the heavenly blood seal. In a short time, the heavenly blood seal had swallowed all the treasures. Almost all of them were tattered, leaving behind a few. The heavenly blood seal needed time to refine the treasures it had swallowed, but Lin Fei didn't mind. In any case, he would improve as much as he could. It would be a waste to leave them there. Young Master, these are some of the better treasures we found in the past. Qi Lin took out the treasures from another location. The first one was a millstone-like object. It was green in color, but now its color was a little dim. This is a treasure that belonged to one of the Fortune Gate's ancestors. According to rumors, it was one of the Fortune Gate's greatest treasures, but it was heavily injured by an 8th step expert. Lin Fei had heard of the Fortune Gate before. One of the Holy World's top 10 cultivation techniques was called the indestructible fortune art. Once cultivated to a certain level, one would become immortal and indestructible. It was a terrifying technique. No way, there's such a thing. Lin Fei exclaimed in astonishment. Good luck. Lin Fei picked up the millstone-like object. Immediately, a terrifying pressure swept over him. After a long time, the pressure was no longer as strong as it was in the past. Lin Fei easily dealt with it. There is an independent space in the depths of the millstone-like object, and there is a powerful force guarding it. I suspect that if I can defeat that force, I might have a chance to obtain the indestructible fortune art. Even if it's not the complete one, it's still a secret. Everyone in the Holy World knew how powerful this cultivation technique was, and it had always been a secret. There were even rumors that the reason why the Fortune Gate could not rise to the top was because the cultivation technique was incomplete. This rumor had never been verified, and now Lin Fei understood that the rumors might be true. It was precisely because the Fortune Gate lacked a complete cultivation technique that they were unable to take another step forward. Lin Fei did not plan to investigate the millstone-like object now. He put it away in the system space, where no one would be able to sense it, and there was no need to worry about the Fortune Gate's experts coming after him. Even if he did not get anything else today, even if there was only this treasure, it was already a great harvest for Lin Fei. Qi Lin's other treasures could not be compared to the millstone-like object, but they were still pretty good. Lin Fei kept all of them. After touring Qi Lin's lair, Lin Fei felt that he couldn't just leave like this. He needed to search for some weaker skeletons. He had no intention of taking the corpses, but he could still modify the skeletons. Even if they were just cannon fodder, at least they could still attack. There were no skeletons in this alternate dimension. It was just as Qi Lin had said. Basically, they were all the most powerful existences of their time. They were famous people who would tremble with just a stomp of their feet. As for the expert who had attacked the unknown alternate space, it was unknown. It had to be at least a ninth-step expert. Ordinary experts couldn't do it. Young master, the strongest skeletons you mentioned should be in these places. They didn't have time to protect them, and their bodies have already rotted away.